Chapter 321. Lin Yan pondered over this sentence. This was a famous quote by Oscar Wilde. Huh? What do you mean? Lin Yan didn't understand. Pei Yuqing's eyes reflected the night sky as he said, "If you're lying to me, then lie to me forever." Pei Yuqing had used the first person to answer her question. Lin Yan felt as though she had been exposed and seen through. She couldn't help but jump in fright. At the same time, she understood what Pei Yuqing meant. If he played along with her for the rest of his life, who would be able to tell the difference between that and a lifelong undying love? Even if he knew that it was a lie, wouldn't he care? How much did he love the other party to be able to tolerate such a thing? Lin Yan's heart skipped a beat at the thought of this. F***ck. Pei Yuqing loved her deeply. She must have gone mad. Ah. Haha. I see. Lin Yan chuckled awkwardly and hurriedly distanced herself from him. I'm talking about my best friend. It has nothing to do with me. Of course, I wouldn't do such a thing. The last time I proposed to break up, it was actually because of the scandal between me and that person. I was worried that you would be implicated by me one day, so I was impulsive and proposed to break up with you. Pei Yuqing glanced at the flustered girl before him with a faint smile on his face. Actually, we can't rule out another possibility. What possibility? Lin Yan, who was startled, stared at Pei Yuqing. Lin Yan was curious. What other possibility could there be? Pei Yuqing studied her. Turning the act into reality. Lin Yan muttered, Lin Yan was startled. A second later, her heart thumped wildly. Turning the act into reality? Damn it. Why did she suddenly feel so guilty? Calm down. Calm down. She had said so much just because of a hypothesis. It was just a hypothesis. Lin Yan rubbed her face to calm herself down. She coughed softly and said, Actually, I broke up with you because I was afraid that my reputation would be too bad. On the other hand, Pei Yuqing didn't interrupt her. He listened patiently. Lin Yan added, because Mr. Pei's attitude toward me was too unreal. This isn't real. Pei Yuqing muttered. Lin Yan nodded. Yes. Ever since we first met, you've always been gentle, polite, calm, and composed. Even when you were angry last time, you quickly returned to your original self. Although I don't have much experience, I feel that this doesn't seem to be the state of falling in love and liking. Since she had already said it, she decided to voice her doubts. That's why I always thought that you were just fooling around with me because you were bored. Pei Yuqing finally raised his eyes and glanced at the girl. He muttered to himself, Calm down and control yourself. Lin Yan nodded. Yeah, the man's eyes darkened. It seems that Miss Lin seems to have some misunderstanding about me. Misunderstanding. Lin Yan blinked in confusion. Under the girl's confused gaze, Pei Yuqing suddenly raised his hand, which was wearing the silver watch. Then, he placed his long fingers on the girl's tiny hand and intertwined his fingers with hers. Chapter 322. On the other side, in the private dining room of the film crew. The banquet was about to start, but Lin Yan hadn't returned yet. Jiang Sifei and the other actresses had already started to voice their dissatisfaction. Why is there someone missing? I think it's Lin Yan. She's just a supporting actress. How dare she make so many of us wait for her? Feng Anhua looked displeased. Yeah, where is Lin Yan? I saw her here just now. Where did she go? Pei Nanxiu replied warmly, I saw her go to the bathroom. She should be here soon. We're all friends, so let's not be so formal. Let's start the banquet. When Pei Nanxiu spoke, the others quietened down. Why did they feel that Pei Nanxiu was taking care of Lin Yan? However, since Pei Nanxiu was nice to everyone, they didn't think too much about it. Only Shen Qiaomu rubbed his chin as he studied Pei Nanxiu from head to toe. Why did he feel that something was amiss between Pei Nanxiu and Lin Yan? Pei Nanxiu whipped out his phone and sent a message to Pei Yuqing. However, there was no reply after some time. Hence, he called Lin Yan again to remind her of the time. However, Lin Yan's phone was switched off. Pei Nanxiu stared at his phone, feeling a headache coming on. It wasn't appropriate for Lin Yan to be late today. Otherwise, it would arouse suspicion. Meanwhile, in the dimly lit storage room, Lin Yan felt a burning sensation in her palm. The man's eyes were burning with passion, and she didn't dare to meet his gaze. A second later, Pei Yuqing placed his other hand on the back of the girl's head and drew close enough for them to feel each other's breath. An extremely light kiss landed on the girl's forehead tentatively. Then, it landed on the girl's lips. Lin Yan's eyes widened in shock. Just as she was panicking, Pei Yuqing guided her hand and placed it on his left chest, where his heart was. When her fingers touched Pei Yuqing's heart, Lin Yan froze. Every time Pei Yuqing flirted with her, her mind would go blank and her emotions would be in a mess. Her heart would race so fast that it would kill countless deer. On the other hand, Pei Yuqing would remain calm and composed as though he was an outsider. Hence, he couldn't blame Lin Yan for thinking that he was just fooling around. However, Lin Yan could clearly feel the man's heart pounding furiously under her palm. Again and again, it pounded against her palm like a drum. The man's slightly cold palm also became hotter and hotter. This was definitely not the performance of being calm and collected. An impossible thought surfaced in Lin Yan's head. Miss Lin. Very quickly, the man left her lips. His fingers continued to press her hand against his chest. His low, husky, and magnetic voice sounded like a sigh mixed with a hint of helplessness as it rang in her ears. What kind of misunderstanding do you have about me? Why do you think I'm calm, in front of you? Lin Yan was speechless. She felt as though she was on the front of a train that was about to leave the track. Although it had only been a few seconds, she could still feel Pei Yuqing's heartbeat on her palm. It felt so real. Was this for real? Pei Yuqing had actually, had he really been blind? Chapter 323. The heart beneath her palm was beating rapidly and forcefully. It was the complete opposite of the man's usual calmness and passion. Lin Yan stood there in a daze, unable to snap back to her senses. Her brain felt as though it had been stuffed with paste, and it was a complete mess. The alarm, which had been ringing intermittently, had suddenly stopped. Knock, knock, knock. At this moment, there was a light knock on the door behind him. Startled, Lin Yan turned to look at the door warily. She was done for. Why would someone come to such a secluded place? Lin Yan was still panicking when she heard a familiar voice. Big brother, big sister-in-law, Mr. Pei? Lin Yan heaved a sigh of relief when she heard Pei Nanxiu's voice. She hurriedly opened the door. Mr. Pei, why are you here? Asked Lin Yan. Pei Nanxiu glanced at Lin Yan before glancing at his brother. Their hands were still holding each other's hands. Pei Nanxiu glanced at his brother, who was emitting a cold aura. He looked troubled. He hadn't wanted to disturb them, but Big Brother had ordered him not to disturb Lin Yan's work. Pei Nanxiu could only force himself to explain. Big sister-in-law, the banquet has started. It wouldn't be good if you didn't go home for a long time. Also, it would be easy for someone to discover you. I called you just now, but no one picked up. I didn't feel at ease letting anyone else come, so I came to inform you myself. Lin Yan instinctively glanced at her phone, only to realize that it had run out of battery. Lin Yan was touched when she heard Pei Nanxiu's words. This was the best brother-in-law of the century. He was so considerate. Her idol was like an angel who had descended from heaven. I'm sorry. I'll head back now. Lin Yan said hastily before she glanced at Pei Yuqing. Mr. Pei, I'll make a move first. She had been in love all of a sudden. Why did it seem as though she had secretly invited him out? The worst part was that she actually had to trouble her idol to cover for her. Fortunately, Pei Nanxiu had appeared suddenly and interrupted her awkwardness. Lin Yan got ready to leave after she spoke to Pei Yuqing. However, just as she took a step forward, her body suddenly couldn't move. A second later, she lowered her head and realized that Pei Yuqing was still holding her hand. He hadn't released it. Air. Lin Yan's body stiffened as she turned to look at the man beside her. The man's face was hidden in the shadows. Even though Lin Yan couldn't see his expression, she could sense the pressure emanating from him. The watch on the man's wrist that had just stopped ringing with great difficulty began to ring crazily again. Lin Yan was speechless, Nanshu was speechless, Pei Nanshu coughed softly and wisely chose to leave. They were dating openly, yet Pei Yuqing had to meet her in secret. They had only met for a short while, yet she was leaving again. Lin Yan's heart softened when she saw the man standing in the narrow, dark room, looking travel-worn and dusty. Why don't I just find a random reason and not go? Tears streamed down Lin Yan's cheeks as she chided herself. Didn't he say that he would reject beauty and focus on his career? Chapter 324. Pei Yuqing studied the girl's frustrated and helpless expression. He raised his hand and placed it on the girl's head before he stroked it gently. There's no need for that. But you. Lin Yan glanced at Pei Yuqing's watch. However, it was still ringing. Judging from Pei Yuqing's heartbeat and the alarm of the watch, she had to admit that she could indeed affect Pei Yuqing's emotions. It's okay. I'll be fine in a while, Pei Yuqing replied. After a few seconds, Pei Yuqing's watch finally stopped ringing. All the restless emotions seemed to have been forcefully suppressed by its owner. Lin Yan couldn't help but feel guilty and remorseful at how considerate he was. I'm sorry. We're clearly dating, but because of my personal reasons, you have to give in to me and meet me secretly. Pei Yuqing's eyes glinted as he chuckled softly. There is a way to meet openly. Lin Yan asked, huh? What way? Pei Yuqing didn't answer her. Instead, he glanced behind her and said, go ahead. Okay. Lin Yan nodded and pushed the door open. Pei Nanshu was guarding the door diligently. He was probably afraid that someone would come over so that he could warn them in advance. Mr. Pei, thank you so much. Lin Yan thanked him profusely. Big sister-in-law, you're welcome. It's what I should do. Pei Nanshu grinned. Pei Nanshu studied Lin Yan as he walked and said tentatively, Big sister-in-law, you're really close to my brother. He wanted to see you as soon as he came back. I've never seen him so attentive to anyone before. Ahem. Really? Lin Yan blushed. Oh yeah, my brother has already punished the subordinate who acted on her own. Don't take it to heart. It won't happen again, Pei Nanshu replied. Now that his brother had finally gotten back together with Lin Yan, he was afraid that Lin Yan would break up with him again. Lin Yan narrowed her eyes and quipped, that girl. Does she like your brother? Pei Nanshu jumped in fright. Ahem. How could that be? I don't think so, really. She had been glaring at Pei Yuqing with a passionate gaze. Of course, they are just ordinary subordinates. Pei Nanshu was afraid that Lin Yan would misunderstand, so he hurriedly explained himself and changed the topic. Let's head over quickly. If we're gone for too long, we might be discovered. Pei Nanshu chatted with Lin Yan as they hurried to the VIP room. They had just reached the staircase when they bumped into someone. In the empty staircase, Shen Chaomu stood in a corner, smoking a cigarette in his hand. Lin Yan and Pei Nanshu walked up the stairs side by side. In an instant, the three pairs of eyes met, and all three of them were stunned. Nanshu was speechless, Lin Yan was speechless. Shen Chaomu dropped the cigarette in his mouth when he saw Lin Yan and Pei Nanshu in the deserted stairwell. He stared at them in shock and bewilderment. Holy shit. Lin Yan and Pei Nanshu. Chapter 325. You and Mr. Pei. What kind of shocking secret had he discovered? In the car, he had jokingly asked Lin Yan if any of her rumored boyfriends were real. He had guessed everyone in the car, but he had forgotten about Pei Nanshu, Lin Yan and Pei Nanshu. The two of them were worlds apart. How could this be possible? Lin Yan was dumbfounded. She hadn't expected that she would bump into someone even though she had been so careful. Furthermore, this person was Shen Xiaomu, one of her rumored boyfriends. In a place like the staircase, a man and a woman were alone with Pei Nanxiu. How could they explain themselves? Initially, she and Pei Nanxiu had planned to enter the private room one after the other. However, before they could do so, they bumped into Shen Xiaomu. Who would have thought that this fellow would come here instead of staying in the private room? Pei Nanxiu frowned, looking rather displeased. Why aren't you eating in the private room? Why are you here? Lin Yan was speechless. Shen Xiaomu replied blankly, it's too stuffy in the private room, so I came here to get some fresh air. What about the two of you? Lin Yan stroked her chin and muttered, if I told you that we came here to get some fresh air, would you believe me? Shen Xiaomu quipped, do you think I would believe you? Lin Yan was speechless. He didn't seem to believe her. Shen Xiaomu stared at Lin Yan in shock. F***CK. Lin Yan. So the boyfriend you mentioned in the car was Mr. Pei? Pei Nanxiu was speechless. Lin Yan was speechless. Although the answer was wrong, it was very close to the correct answer. Shen Xiaomu looked as though his worldview had been turned upside down. Oh my God. How is that possible? The two of you? Lin Yan narrowed her eyes. What about us? Why are you so shocked? What had happened between her and Pei Nanxiu? Why was it so unbelievable? How ignorant. He was already so frightened when he saw her and Pei Nanxiu. If he knew her boyfriend's true identity, how frightened would he be? Why not? Shen Xiaomu was agitated. If news of you and Pei Nanxiu gets out, the entire entertainment industry will explode. Lin Yan pursed her lips. That was true, however, he didn't know that the truth would be even more explosive. Pei Nanxiu hurriedly explained, Mr. Shen, you're mistaken. It's not what you think. Shen Xiaomu nodded profusely and gestured as though he was zipping his mouth. I understand. I understand everything. Don't worry, my lips are sealed. I won't say anything. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. What do you know? I'm sorry to disturb you. Please continue. Unfortunately, Shen Xiaomu didn't want to listen to his explanation at all. He had already tactfully left. Pei Nanxiu stood rooted to the ground and sighed heavily. He glanced at Lin Yan with a bitter smile. It seemed like he wouldn't be able to explain himself. What should we do? Lin Yan looked like she was about to cry. Pei Nanxiu comforted her. I'm afraid we won't be able to explain ourselves. Fortunately, although Shen Xiaomu's private life is a little messy, he is a good person. I don't think he will spread the news. I will tell him not to spread the news. I think that's the only way. Lin Yan could only console herself that she hadn't bumped into Pei Yucheng. Chapter 326. After a while, the two of them finally entered the private room. Although they didn't enter at the same time, Shen Xiaomu, Pei Nanxiu, and Lin Yan still caught everyone's attention. What was worse was that Shen Xiaomu, who was seated next to Pei Nanxiu, sprang to his feet the moment he saw Lin Yan. Lin Yan, your seat seems more airy. Come on, switch seats with me. He strode over to Lin Yan and tried to switch seats with her. He even shot her a look that said, I know what's good for me. Lin Yan was speechless. She glanced at Pei Nanxiu and then at Shen Xiaomu. She realized how important it was to have a reliable assistant. In the end, Shen Xiaomu forced Lin Yan to sit next to Pei Nanxiu. To make matters worse, Pei Nanxiu was on her left, Han Yixuan was on her right, and Jiang Xifei was on her right. That was enough. It had taken her a lot of effort to avoid all the landmines and find a safe spot. Now, Shen Xiaomu had ruined all her plans. When they saw that Lin Yan had been moved to Pei Nanxiu's seat, the other actresses' faces darkened. Jiang Xifei, the female lead, was the first to react. Sister Xifei, shouldn't you be sitting next to Mr. Pei? It's fine if it's Shen Xiaomu, but why is Lin Yan sitting there shamelessly? He Shanshan, who was standing next to Jiang Sifei, chimed in. He Shanshan shouldn't have had the right to attend the gathering. However, because of Han Yishuan and Lin Shiya's relationship, Feng Anhua had invited her. Since Han Yishuan was her cousin-in-law, He Shanshan didn't hold back at all. Everyone at the table heard her. Everyone was jealous of Lin Yan, so they ignored the fact that Shen Chaomu had requested to switch seats. They might even think that Lin Yan was flirting with Shen Chaomu and Pei Nanshu. Lin Yan gritted her teeth and glared at Shen Chaomu, who was still looking innocent. Forget it. Given her reputation, even if she didn't do anything, it would be wrong for her to breathe. Whatever, as long as they were happy, Feng Anhua tried to smooth things over. Great. Everyone is finally here. Come on. Let's raise our glasses. Cheers to all of us. As soon as Feng Anhua finished speaking, everyone raised their glasses out of respect. Lin Yan wasn't the only one who had completed her scenes. Jiang Sifei and the other celebrities had also completed their scenes. Only Pei Nanshu, Shen Chaomu, and a few other actors had to continue filming. Sifei, you finished filming. Let's toast Sifei. Feng Anhua glanced at Jiang Sifei eagerly. Although Lin Yan had completed her scenes today, she was just a supporting character, so she didn't really matter. Thank you, Producer Feng. Thank you, Director Jiang. Thank you, everyone, for taking care of me. Jiang Sifei stood up gracefully and thanked everyone. Ha ha ha, Sifei, you're too kind. We should be the ones thanking you. With Best Actress Jiang supporting us, our movie will definitely be a hit. Feng Anhua complimented confidently. Jiang Sifei glanced at Pei Nanshu shyly. How can I compare to Mr. Pei? Even if it's a big hit, it should be because of him. Chapter 327. Pei Nanshu remained expressionless as he listened to Jiang Sifei. He merely smiled faintly. Jiang Sifei was no longer the same as before. She was a newcomer that Lin Shiya's management company had invested a lot of resources on. Feng Anhua valued her potential, so he naturally flattered her. Mr. Pei, you're the best actor in the industry. Sifei, you have a bright future ahead of you. You've won so many awards at such a young age. Who in the industry doesn't recognize your talent? Feng Anhua praised her. You're the best actor in the industry. Your acting skills are unparalleled among all the actresses in the entertainment industry. You're both beautiful and capable. You're like Mr. Pei. You're the soul of our movie. Feng Anhua had been in the entertainment industry for many years and knew how to say the right thing. Every word he said was right on Jiang Sifei's heart. Jiang Sifei was over the moon. However, Jiang Sifei maintained a humble expression as she replied, Producer Feng, you're flattering me. I still have a lot to learn. There's no end to learning. I firmly believe that I can only go far if I'm down to earth and use my abilities. Jiang Sifei's eyes darted to Lin Yan as she spoke. When He Shanshan heard this, she immediately chimed in, Sister Sifei, you're so right. We should have more artists like you in the entertainment industry. It's a pity that some people don't have any ability. Their acting skills are terrible and they only know how to create scandals. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to survive. I heard that she made dozens of NGs in a simple scene with Mr. Pei today. Everyone else had to work overtime with her. A rat's poop spoils the whole pot of porridge. She has really lowered the standard of our production team. Everyone knew who He Shanshan was referring to. The production team had always been split into groups. Only a small number of people knew about Lin Yan's acting skills. Not many actors had seen her acting or acted with her personally. Hence, many people despised Lin Yan. However, Jiang Yiming, Wei Shufeng, and Pei Nanshu were well aware of this. Wei Shufeng was Lin Yan's biggest critic. Wei Shufeng frowned when he heard He Shanshan's words. Even though he hated Lin Yan, he had to admit that her acting was impeccable. It could even be said that acting with Lin Yan was the most relaxing experience he had ever had. However, He was surprised to hear that she had made dozens of NGs in one scene with Pei Nanshu. After all, most of Lin Yan's scenes with him had been completed in one scene. Besides, she was talented and quick to learn. Even if she failed occasionally, she would be able to get the hang of things quickly. Why had she failed so many times with Pei Nanshu? After all, he wasn't a professional, so he probably wouldn't be able to perform well. Pei Nanshu naturally wouldn't speak up now. If he spoke up for Lin Yan, he would only cause more trouble for her. Besides, the audience wasn't blind, so they would be able to see Lin Yan's performance when the movie was released. Although Lin Yan didn't have many scenes, based on his experience, he was certain that the most popular character in the movie would be Lin Pianruo. On the other hand, Jiang Sifei, who had been highly praised by Feng Anhua, didn't deserve her title as the best actress. Jiang Sifei was right about one thing. An actor's acting skills and capabilities were the most important. Chapter 328. At the dining table, everyone toasted each other. Pei Nanshu's seat was too eye-catching, so Lin Yan had no choice but to bury her head and eat. After 3 rounds of drinks, a staff member suddenly pushed open the door and whispered something in Feng Anhua's ear. What? Lin Shuya is here? Feng Anhua exclaimed in surprise as he stood up to welcome her. As they spoke, the door to the private room was pushed open. Lin Shuya walked in wearing a dazzling, luxurious gown. Miss Lin. Wow. It's Lin Shuya. Cousin. The moment they saw Lin Shuya, everyone in the room greeted her warmly. Han Yishuan's gloomy expression softened when he saw who it was. He Shanshan walked over happily and held Lin Shuya's arm warmly. Cousin, why are you here? Lin Shuya smiled and said, I happen to be attending a dinner party here today. I heard from Brother Yishuan that the production crew was having a dinner party here, so I came uninvited. He then turned to Feng Anhua and Jiang Yiming. I'm sorry to disturb you. I hope producer Feng and director Jiang won't mind. Feng Anhua beamed. Shuya, what are you talking about? He couldn't even beg for it. Your presence brings light to our humble dwelling. Please take a seat. After he finished speaking, he ordered the waiter to prepare another set of tableware. Jiang Sifei, who was sitting beside Han Yishuan, stood up. Shuya, sit here. Han Yishuan got up and walked over to the girl. Considerately, he held her hand and led her to a seat. His voice was as gentle as water. Didn't you say you were busy? No matter how busy I am, I'm not as important as Big Brother Yishuan. Lin Shuya said in a sweet voice. Han Yishuan was delighted by Lin Shuya's words, and a doting look appeared on his face. No matter what, the girl in front of him would always regard him as the most important existence in her life. She would always look up to him with a dependent gaze. His existence was everywhere in her world. Then, she turned to look at Wei Shufeng. Shufeng, I'm looking forward to your theme song. It must be very nice. Wei Shufeng's expression softened when he saw Lin Shuya. Thank you. At the dining table, Lin Shuya was like a fish in water. The girl was pure and friendly, like an angel. Her mannerisms were elegant and noble, and everyone liked her. Not only did the domineering and arrogant young Master Wei have a rare gentle expression, but young Master Shen Qiaomu was also very attentive to the beauty. Han Yishuan's eyes were filled with affection from the beginning to the end. Oh right, cousin, what kind of dinner are you attending? He Shanshan asked. Lin Shuya ran her fingers through her hair as a proud expression flashed across her eyes. I have an appointment with Director Garcia tonight. He Shanshan's face lit up with excitement. Wow! Is it that famous Hollywood director? I heard that he's going to shoot a movie about racing. Cousin, are you going to shoot a movie with Director Garcia? Everyone at the dining table was shocked to hear He Shanshan's words. Garcia was an A-list director in Hollywood who had made countless celebrities famous. Almost all the celebrities in the country would be honored if they could star in his movies. Lin Shuya smiled but didn't reply. Jiang Sifei chimed in. This movie has been confirmed a long time ago. Miss Lin will be playing a very important role in it. Director Garcia personally decided on the role. Chapter 329. Wow. You're amazing. He Shanshan's eyes gleamed with admiration. Lin Xia replied calmly, I was just lucky. Besides, I happen to be interested in racing and have a good understanding of it. Perhaps I'm more suited for the role. That's why the director chose me. You're as good as a professional. Jiang Sifei complimented her. That's because you're outstanding, knowledgeable, and multi-talented. You know everything. He Shanshan grinned at Lin Yan and raised her voice. No wonder Sister Sifei jumped ship to work for you. Indeed, birds of a feather flock together. Outstanding people stick together with outstanding people, unlike some people. Lin Xia's eyes trailed to Lin Yan as she grinned. Sister, I almost forgot to greet you. It's been a while. I heard that you finished filming today. Congratulations. Han Yishuan glanced at Lin Yan warily when he heard Lin Xia talking to her. He seemed to be afraid that Lin Yan would go crazy and do something to Lin Xia. Actually, he had admired Lin Yan's independence and her carefree personality. He had also enjoyed her meticulous care and concern. When the girl before him treated someone well, she would give her all and be as passionate as a flame. When he had been chased out of the family and exiled abroad, Lin Yan had been by his side during the darkest times of his life. He had once truly liked her. However, he was a man after all. How could he bear to rely on a woman? When he had returned to the country, Lin Yan had asked him to take care of her sister, Lin Xia. That girl was completely different from Lin Yan. Unlike Lin Yan, who was sophisticated, Lin Xia was as pure and innocent as a blank piece of paper. Her reliance and admiration for him had instantly moved him. Initially, when his relationship with Xia had been exposed, he had felt guilty and blamed himself. He had tried to make it up to her. However, Lin Yan's emotions had suddenly become unstable, as though she had changed into a different person. As time went by, he listened to her recount the events of the past. He listened to her help him remember how down and out he had been. He watched as she caused trouble for him and Xia in public like a lunatic. His guilt slowly turned into annoyance. The girl he once liked was actually so repulsive. Just like that, the gentle and caring Lin Xia entered his heart. The more Lin Yan caused trouble for Lin Xia, the more he hated her. Han Yishuan's alarmed expression amused Lin Yan. It seemed that she had been quite a fool before. Did Han Yishuan really think that she would be the same as before? That she would make a scene in public and make a fool of herself for these two pieces of trash? Lin Yan raised her glass and toasted Lin Xia. Thank you. Lin Xia couldn't help but frown as she studied Lin Yan's expression. She didn't know when it had started, but Lin Yan had reverted to her usual nonchalant self, which made her feel disgusted. Now that she had nothing left, what right did he have to look at her like that? Han Yishuan heaved a sigh of relief. At the same time, he felt a little suspicious. The girl before him had a nonchalant expression on her face. It was something he had never seen before. Chapter 330. Although Lin Yan had been carefree when they had been dating, she had always been considerate and warm to him. However, after they had broken up because of Xia, she had been depressed and crazy. He had never seen Lin Yan like this before. She looked indifferent and contemptuous. It was as though she didn't care about anything. Yi Shanshan pursed her lips and sneered, "Cousin, why are you still so nice to her?" She was shamelessly buying publicity materials to create a scandal with her cousin-in-law. Hearing this, the people at the dining table started to discuss in low voices. Everyone looked like they were watching a good show. Lin Yan lowered her eyes and chuckled softly. She swirled the wine in her glass and took a sip. "Miss He, there are so many big shots in the production team. Mr. Pei is the top celebrity in the entertainment industry. If I wanted to make a name for myself, why didn't I do it? Why did I have to make a cameo appearance? Pei Nanxiu coughed softly. Lin Yan added, even if I were to create a scandal with Shen Qiaomu, we would still be considered a powerful combination. Shen Qiaomu was speechless. A powerful combination, this description, could be used. Lin Yan gulped down the wine in her glass and grinned. That's why I'm sorry. Even if I want to create a scandal, I won't let anyone do it. Lin Yan wasn't ashamed of it. Instead, she was proud of it, which made He Shanshan speechless. You. He Shanshan was so angry that she slammed the table and stood up. Who do you think you are? How dare you say that you look down on Big Brother Yixuan? Don't you know that Big Brother Yixuan has a good family background? That's why you're so obsessed with him. Lin Yan raised an eyebrow. Huh? Is the Han family the only family with a good family background in the capital city? What do you think of young Master Wei? Although the Han family was one of the wealthiest families in the capital city, the Wei family was on par with them. In fact, the Wei family had been developing as fast as the Han family. Wei Shufeng was speechless. Lin Yan quipped, Mr. Han can't be compared to Tang Jiaye. Tang Jiaye was speechless. Lin Yan's words had caused Pei Nanxiu, Shen Qiaomu, Wei Shufeng, and Tang Jiaye to be implicated. He Shanshan stomped her feet in anger. You're shameless. I wonder who was the one who insisted that Brother Yixuan was your boyfriend. Lin Yan sighed. Who hasn't been blind before? He Shanshan, the onlookers were speechless. Pei Nanxiu lowered his head and sipped his tea. He coughed softly and gave up on the idea of speaking. He seemed to have underestimated his sister-in-law's fighting ability. Just this mouth alone was enough to kill without spilling blood. Han Yixuan's face had darkened as he glanced at Lin Yan with a gloomy expression. Lin Yan seemed to be tipsy, so Feng Anhua hastily stepped forward to change the topic. Late at night, the meal was finally over. Lin Yan is really despicable. I've never seen such a shameless person. He Shanshan was indignant. Jiang Sifei sneered coldly. She is sharp-tongued and has a glib tongue. This kind of person only knows how to talk. How's Lin Yan doing? Lin Xia asked casually as she stroked her nails. Chapter 331. He Shanshan looked nonchalant. Sister Xia, don't worry. This idiot's acting skills are terrible. She even failed dozens of times in her scene with Pei Nanxiu. There are so many big names in this movie, and Sister Sifei is the best actress. She will look like a clown and get scolded to death. Jiang Sifei snorted softly. She even made a bet with Zhao Hongling that she would rank first in sales within 3 months. Lin Xia sighed softly and shook her head. I thought that Zhao Hongling was capable. I didn't expect her to be so mediocre. Jiang Sifei's eyes flickered. Miss Lin, we can add fuel to the fire before the movie is released. We can kick her out of the entertainment industry. After the gathering, Lin Yan returned home. That night, Lin Yan received a call from her grandfather, He Dingkuan. He wanted her to have lunch at the old mansion. She had completed all her scenes in Meeting One's match, so she had nothing to do. Thus, Lin Yan agreed readily. At noon the next day, Lin Yan hailed a cab and headed to the old mansion. The He family mansion was bustling with activity. Almost all the members of the He family team were there. Grandfather, I don't think it's appropriate for Sister Yan to be Brother Minkai's navigator. If it doesn't work out, Sister Yan can be my navigator. After all, we have worked together before. We have a tacit understanding. He Lufeng glanced at He Dingkuan as he spoke. Ha. He Lufeng, forget it. Lin Yan's navigator skills are not bad. It shouldn't be a problem for her to be paired with Minkai. However, I think it's a waste for you. I'm just being honest. Don't be angry. One of the He family racers grinned at He Lufeng. He Lufeng looked indignant. If he hadn't cooperated with Lin Yan, none of them would have made it to the finish line. How dare he say that? What time is it? Why isn't she here yet? Before long, one of the navigators from the He family team snapped impatiently. Although she is a professional navigator, she is still far from Qing Li's level. She was supposed to learn from Qing Li today, yet she is so late. That's right. If Qing Li wasn't sick and unwell, she wouldn't have had the chance to be Minkai's navigator. The young man smiled faintly but didn't comment. In his eyes, Lin Yan wasn't a big deal. Perhaps because she was a woman, the commentator had been overly flattering her. Qing Li, do you think that Lin Yan's description of the road conditions was improvised? One of the racers from the He family glanced at Qing Li. Qing Li smiled faintly and replied, of course not. Even the top navigators in the third level might not be able to do that. Lin Yan memorized the terrain a long time ago. That's why she had such a detailed map. However, these are the basic qualities of a professional navigator. All I can say is that Lin Yan has the ability to be a professional navigator. You're right. Also, how did she execute that side horizontal drift? It's so strange. Qing Li pondered it for a moment before he replied, I think it was a coincidence. It has nothing to do with Lin Yan. Chapter 332. Who said it's fine? He Lufeng stood up abruptly and frowned. It's Sister Yan. What happened to Lin Yan? Asked Qing Li with a smile. He Lufeng was a little puzzled. Indeed, it had happened too quickly that day. Actually, they didn't seem to have done anything. They had just floated out, but He Lufeng couldn't tell how exactly they had done it. I don't know either. Sister Yan and I must have done it together, replied He Lufeng resolutely. Nonsense, of course it was you guys who threw it out. If it wasn't you guys, who else could it be? One of the racers grinned. We all know that you guys did it, but you have to tell us how you did it. Just how did he use side horizontal drift? He Lufeng mulled it over for a moment before he quipped, I think Sister Yan asked me to step on the brakes. I stepped on the brakes and came out. The He family team glanced at each other in confusion. A few racers couldn't help but chuckle. Ha ha. Lufeng, look at you. You can't even explain yourself. You drifted out when you stepped on the brakes. Isn't that luck? Didn't I say that I'm not sure? I just stepped on the brakes. It was Sister Yan. Before He Lufeng could finish, Qing Li chuckled softly. Lufeng, you're a professional racer. There are some things that you can say to us. It's fine if we just laugh it off, but if you say it out loud, we will become a laughing stock. Lin Yan is just a professional navigator. Her theoretical knowledge might be better than yours, but she can't be compared to you when it comes to piloting. Although He Lufeng was indignant, he didn't know how to retort. Lin Yan's instructions had been too simple, and she had been the one controlling the steering wheel. He Lufeng hadn't been able to see it clearly. He Lufeng couldn't bring himself to say anything, even if he wanted to. The next match against WW was about to begin. Even if they couldn't win, they would be able to witness Sister Yan's navigational skills. In fact, the competition with the TWW team might not be a rally. If it had been a regular race, there wouldn't be a need for a navigator. Sister Yan might even be able to compete. However, He Lufeng wasn't too sure. He only knew that Lin Yan was a top navigator, but if she became a racer, he was afraid that things would be different. Qing Li, do you think Lin Yan is qualified to be Minkai's navigator? He Xiong asked Qing Li after some time. Hearing this, Qing Li smiled and said, Uncle Xiong, didn't you say it before? Let me train her for a few days. After I train her, there should be no problem. She should be able to match Minkai's driving standard. I'm glad to hear that. It's Lin Yan's fortune to be able to learn from you. He Xiong grinned. Before they could continue their conversation, Lin Yan strode into the mansion with her bags. Yan, you're here. The old master, He Dingkuan, smiled at Lin Yan. Grandfather, I bought you a gift. Lin Yan placed the bags in the room and turned to look at He Dingkuan. After the filming was completed, the production team had paid her the rest of the remuneration. It's not easy for you guys to earn money. I don't lack anything, so you don't have to buy anything. Sit down and talk, He Dinkuan said. Oh yeah, grandfather. Why did you call me here so urgently? Is there something urgent? Lin Yen sat down on the couch. Chapter 333. What could possibly happen? Isn't it all because of you? He Mingkai glanced at Lin Yen. If it hadn't been for you, we wouldn't have had to get involved with WW and ZH1. Lin Yen glanced at He Mingkai. Before she could speak, He Xiong said coldly, Lin Yen, Qing Li is the best navigator in our team. He has been working with Mingkai for a long time. However, Qing Li hasn't been feeling well recently, and he needs to rest for a period of time. Qing Li has already agreed to let you be his disciple. Once you've learned enough, you can work with Mingkai and become his navigator. Lin Yen glanced at Qing Li, who was smiling at her. Become his disciple? Of course. He Xiong nodded and said, Qing Li also said that your navigator skills aren't bad, but it's still not good enough for Mingkai. Take Qing Li as your master and let him guide you. When it's time, you can be Mingkai's navigator. Miss Lin Yen, you're much better than us, but you're still lacking compared to Qing Li. If you want to become Mingkai's navigator, it's necessary for Qing Li to guide you for a while. One of the navigators smiled at Lin Yen. Become He Mingkai's navigator, become the disciple of an ordinary navigator from the He family team. Lin Yen blinked in confusion. Her emotions were indescribable. I don't think there's a need to become his disciple. Lin Yen chuckled dryly. Qing Li's expression darkened as he glanced at Lin Yen. If you weren't the old master's granddaughter, I wouldn't have taught you anything. Lin Yen tilted her head and raised an eyebrow at the man. Who are you? Qing Li's expression darkened when he heard Lin Yen. Lin Yen, how can you say that? Qing Li is your senior. When he was a professional navigator, you were nowhere to be found. He Xiong bellowed at Lin Yen. Before Lin Yen could respond, Qing Li sneered coldly. Old master, Uncle Xiong, it's not that I don't want to accept her. However, she's so incompetent and arrogant. I really can't teach her. Many navigators turned to look at Lin Yen. The good impression they had of Lin Yen vanished instantly. Miss Lin Yen, Qing Li is the best navigator in our team. I'm afraid you're not good enough for Mingkai. If you don't let Qing Li teach you, how will you become Mingkai's navigator? One of the navigators glanced at Lin Yen in displeasure. Who said that I want to be He Mingkai's navigator? Lin Yen replied calmly. Ever since she had become He Lefeng's navigator, she had sworn that she would never become anyone's navigator again. She was so angry that she wanted to kick the driver out of the car. It was more reliable for him to sit in the driver's seat. Lin Yen, you have to know that it's an honor to be Mingkai's navigator and compete with WW. Without Mingkai, would you have qualified to compete with a prestigious team like WW? He Xiong frowned. Lin Yen ignored him and glanced at the old master. Grandfather, when will the competition begin? In a few days. ZH1 said that they would wait for further notice, replied He Dinkuan. Grandfather, I got it. I have something to do, so I have to leave now. I will be there on the day of the competition. Lin Yen turned around and left without giving the old master a chance to speak. Chapter 334. Lin Yen dialed God Zi's number after she left the mansion. Miss Lin, what can I do for you? God Z asked eagerly. Try to bring the race forward. Also, don't choose a rally race. Choose a regular race that doesn't require a navigator, replied Lin Yen. God Z replied, that's not a problem. I'll make the arrangements. In any case, regardless of the venue, they had no chance of winning. Lin Yen heaved a sigh of relief after she hung up. She couldn't reason with the navigator of the He family team at all. It would be better for her to finish the race as soon as possible and answer to her grandfather. Then, she would retire. Given the popularity of this race, the He family would be able to make a comeback, in the past few days, the news of the competition between WW and the He family team had spread like wildfire. The discussion forums were filled with criticisms of ZH1 and the He family team. "I want to drive a GTR," typed, "the He family team is just a low-level team that's about to disband. How dare they compete with me? Who gave them the courage to do so? This is too obvious. The He family team should get out of the racing industry." Crazy Car Driver typed, "Do you know who the navigator of the He family team is? She has been exposed. She is Lin Yan from the entertainment industry. All the good pigs have been hit by a car," typed F***CK. "She is the Lin Yan who has been trying to gain popularity." You mean Lin Yan? She has made a name for herself in the entertainment industry. Why is she trying her luck in the racing industry? Getting rich every day, rich your mom. This woman is the most disgusting person I've ever seen. For the sake of fame, she would do anything shameless. What does she know about racing? What does she know about being a navigator? Her grandfather is the boss of the He family team. That's how she got into the team. Lin Yan had been vilified for the rest of her life. This woman is shameless. She has been trying to gain popularity with our idol, and now she is trying to blackmail me? Lin Yan lay on the couch in her apartment, munching on sunflower seeds as she watched the netizens criticize her. After so long, she had finally been kicked out of the industry. Her achievements had expanded from the entertainment industry to the racing industry. Soon, a phone rang. God Z's solemn voice rang out. "Miss Lin Yan, have you seen the news online? I'm afraid the situation isn't looking good. If this goes on, I'm afraid the He family team won't be able to establish a foothold in the industry." Lin Yan grinned and replied nonchalantly, "I saw it. It's fine as long as I won." I won. Lin Yan sounded so relaxed, as though she was saying that the weather was good today. The person on the other end of the line fell silent. God Z's voice rang out again. "Miss Lin Yan, I'm well aware of your abilities. However, the other members of the He family team. Besides, the members of WW are evenly matched and they have many strategies. Coupled with their new captain. I'm afraid, the meaning behind God Z's words was clear. Their chances of winning this match were slim. I'm fine. When is the competition starting?" asked Lin Yan. "The day after tomorrow at the Ningnan racetrack," God Z replied. God Z sighed heavily and tried to persuade her. "Miss Lin Yan, it's not too late to back out now. After all, this is ZH1's business. I don't want to drag the He family team down. Moi. The update has ended. 12 chapters have been updated. PS. Everyone's prizes have been sent out one after another. Remember to sign for it. There were too many prizes piled up previously, and they've finally all been sent out. Let's continue the lucky draw below the comments of this chapter. 3 babies will get a canvas bag, and you can vote as usual." Chapter 335. God Z was still nagging anxiously when Lin Yan suddenly received a call. She gave a perfunctory reply before hanging up. He looked at the name on the screen. Sure enough, it was Zhao Hongling. "Hello, Sister Ling, what's up with the news online? Are you going to be the navigator of the He family team? Are you going to compete in the 3rd level of the international competition?" Zhao Hongling asked directly. Lin Yan blinked innocently. "Navigator. No." Zhao Hongling heaved a sigh of relief, thinking that it had to be a rumor spread by her haters. A second later, Lin Yan quipped, "I'm not a navigator. I'm driving." Zhao Hongling was speechless. The other end of the line was silent for a few seconds. Zhao Hongling had assumed that Lin Yan had regained her rationality after Lin Shi's interference. She hadn't expected that Lin Yan would say something like this. "Do you think that you're not popular enough?" Zhao Hongling sighed heavily, at a loss for words. She deliberated for a moment before she said, "Lin Yan, I know that you're anxious to make a comeback, but going too far is as bad as falling short. An appropriate amount of popularity might bring you some benefits, but if the negative news about you continues to spread, your fans will boycott you and you will be banned. I've tried to get some resources for you, but no one has dared to hire you. If you hadn't been lucky enough to join the cast of Meeting One's match, I'm afraid you wouldn't have had a chance to make a comeback. Lin Yan's heart warmed as she listened to Zhao Hongling patiently. Sister Ling, I understand. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. I'm confident in this race. Zhao Hongling frowned. She didn't understand why Lin Yan was so confident. Even though she was He Dingkuan's granddaughter, that didn't mean that she knew how to race. Besides, she had only competed as a navigator, which wasn't the same as driving. Even though she wasn't an expert, she knew that theory and practice weren't the same. Besides, she had read up on WW and knew that even ZH1 wasn't a match for them. Hence, Lin Yan's sudden appearance made even the netizens think that Lin Yan was trying to gain some popularity. However, Zhao Hongling felt an inexplicable urge to trust her when she heard her words. Lin Yan had indeed changed a lot recently. She didn't look like someone who would do something reckless just because she was anxious. All right, call me anytime if you need my help, Zhao Hongling said. Okay. Thank you, Sister Ling. Lin Yan paused before she asked, Sister Ling, how are you doing? Are those people still causing trouble for you? I'm fine. I'm fine. Zhao Hongling's tone was flat. Lin Yan narrowed her eyes. How could this be good? A bunch of people would kick her when she was down. Previously, Zhao Hongling had Jiang Sifei to back her up, so they hadn't dared to say anything. Now that they were certain that Zhao Hongling would be fired in 3 months, they wouldn't let go of this opportunity to humiliate her. In order to prevent her from achieving her goals, they would definitely think of ways to snatch her resources. By the way, since you don't have a schedule for the time being, I'll transfer Duo to another artist, Zhao Hongling explained. Oh, okay, no problem. I'll pay attention. Lin Yan nodded in understanding. After all, Duo wasn't her personal assistant. She was only here temporarily. Chapter 336. After talking to Zhao Hongling, Lin Yan sent a WeChat message to Duo. Misty City amid the setting sun typed, Baby Duo, don't worry. I won't forget you even when I'm rich. When I become rich, I will make you my personal assistant. Star Entertainment's Qian Duo typed, I guess I won't be able to wait that long. Thank goodness. Misty City amid the setting sun, Tui, how could you say something so inauspicious? I'm going to post something on Weibo to get rid of my bad luck. On the other end of the line, Duo was rendered speechless by Lin Yan's post on Weibo. Star Entertainment's Qian Duo typed, can you stop going on Weibo at a time like this? Misty City amid the setting sun typed, why? Star Entertainment's Qian Duo typed, look at Wei Shufeng's Weibo for yourself. Wei Shufeng? What had that fan of hers done? Lin Yan clicked on Wei Shufeng's Weibo page curiously. Young Master Wei had started to poke fun at her again. A blogger had posted on Weibo. Sister Yan, you're the best. The world loves you the most. You'll definitely win. When you teach WW a lesson, I'll beat WW to the ground. Lin Yan had no idea why the blogger had tagged Wei Shufeng's Weibo. Hence, Wei Shufeng had reposted the blogger's Weibo post and retorted, you're just trying to impress the public. If that woman wins, I will strip naked. Lin Yan raised an eyebrow when she read the post. She looked sympathetic. Was he going to go all out? Sigh. I'm sorry, little fan. At the same time, Lin Yan noticed the post that Wei Shufeng had shared. The blogger's ID was Sister Yan's loyal fan. It seemed like he was Lin Yan's fan. Other than a little firework from last time, she actually had other fans? Could he be a hatchet man? After all, this Sister Yan's loyal fan seemed like an attempt to instigate a war. How could a fan be so sure that she would win? Lin Yan pondered for a moment and suddenly realized that this ID looked familiar. She then realized that this ID had been very active on her Weibo account recently. Almost all her posts had been liked and commented on. The homepage was also filled with content related to her. If he was a man in black, then his disguise would be quite convincing. Lin Yan clicked on her messages as she pondered. Amidst all the cursing, she saw that Sister Yen had sent her a private message as well. Sister Yen typed, "Boss, I've already bought a ticket. I'm looking forward to your return. You're the best. Good luck, boss." Boss. Only Yeva's fans would address her as boss. Who was this Weibo fan? He actually knew her true identity? As far as she knew, no one should know her identity. Oh, no, there really was one. Could it be that staff member who recognized her during the competition? His name seemed to be Chi Xiaoyuan or something. Qian Duo from Star Entertainment. I wanted to ask you before. Why did you change your name and profile picture? Who is the man in your avatar? Mr. Pei? I don't think I've seen this photo before. On the other end of the phone, Plenty suddenly sent a message over. The background of Lin Yan's profile picture seemed to have been taken at home. It didn't look like Pei Nanxiu. Misty City amid the setting sun replied, Yes, it's Mr. Pei. His brother. Chapter 337. Lin Yan leaned against the window as she tried to fool Duo. Out of the corner of her eye, she caught a glimpse of a familiar car parked downstairs. Why did it look like Pei Yuqing's car? Lin Yan opened the window and took a closer look. This time, she saw a man standing beside the car. No way, why would Pei Yuqing be standing at her building so late at night? Why hadn't he told her that he was here? Lin Yan scrambled to her feet and wanted to confirm her suspicions. Lin Yan draped a coat over her shoulders and went downstairs. On the side of the road in the neighborhood downstairs, there was a dim street light. A black car was quietly parked there, and the man's tall body was stretched into a long shadow under the street light. Mr. Pei? Lin Yan stood a few steps away from him as she tried to call out to him. Hearing that, the man's fingers that were holding the cigarette paused for a moment before he turned in the direction of the girl's voice. Oh, it's really you. Lin Yan was surprised when she saw the man's face. Pei Yuqing was wearing a suit, but his tie was undone. 2 buttons on his light-colored shirt were undone, and his hair was a little messy because of the night breeze. Mr. Pei, why are you here? Lin Yan walked over hastily. The cigarette in Pei Yuqing's hand burned quietly as he replied, I was passing by. Passing by, Lin Yan's eyes darted to Pei Yuqing's feet, which were littered with cigarette butts. Oh, I was just passing by. How long have you been here? Why didn't you tell me? Do you want to go upstairs? Asked Lin Yan. Pei Yuqing's expression faltered when he heard the girl. A look of surprise flashed across his eyes. Lin Yan had thought that there was nothing wrong with what she had said. She had no idea why Pei Yuqing would look so surprised. Even if they were just friends, it was only right for her to invite him upstairs. Besides, they were lovers. Under the streetlight, Pei Yuqing studied the girl's face and said slowly, human desires are endless. Once you get a little, you will want more. Huh? Lin Yan was confused. She didn't understand what Pei Yuqing meant. She had only invited him up to have a seat. Why did she suddenly reply with such a profound question? What do you mean? Lin Yan blurted out. Pei Yuqing lowered his eyes and chuckled softly. I don't have any self-control in front of you. Lin Yan replied, When Lin Yan finally understood what he meant, she felt a little embarrassed. Holy shit. She only thought that out of courtesy, she should invite him up for a cup of tea. She really didn't mean anything else. Besides, she didn't have the guts to do that. Seeing you is enough. Pei Yuqing reached out to stroke the girl's hair. Then, he bade her good night and turned to leave. Ever since she had gotten back together with Pei Yuqing had asked her to join Summit Entertainment. Everything else had returned to normal. Other than exchanging messages occasionally, they hadn't interfered with each other. It was rare for him to pass by, but he only saw her once before leaving. Moreover, if she hadn't discovered it herself, he probably wouldn't have let her know. Seeing you once is enough, Pei Yuqing's words echoed in Lin Yan's ears. Instinctively, she raised her hand and touched the spot where Pei Yuqing had touched her. For some reason, she felt a hard part of her heart soften and collapse bit by bit. When she realized that she was in a daze, Lin Yan hurriedly shook her head to calm herself down. Damn it. Wake up. Wake up. A hero's grave is a land of gentleness. You're going to be the richest woman in the world. Chapter 338. In the past 2 days, Lin Yan had been keeping an eye on the international racing film. Lin Yan already knew the title of the film. It was called The Story of the Racetrack. It was about the male lead, Lang Mang, who had just entered the racing industry and won 2 second-level competitions in a row. However, he fell into the lowest point of his life until he met his coach, the racetrack's Grim Reaper, Yeva. His skills improved, and he reached the pinnacle of his life. There was even a love story about Lang Mang. After reading the plot of The Story of the Racetrack, Lin Yan felt that this movie had a conscience. At least it had done its homework, and it was true. It was a pity that the racetrack's Grim Reaper didn't have many scenes. She was merely a gimmick. In terms of influence and popularity, few people could compare to the racetrack's Grim Reaper. Using the racetrack's Grim Reaper to attract the audience was indeed effective. Besides, the producers had placed a lot of importance on the racetrack's Grim Reaper. That was why they hadn't chosen the character yet. Lin Yan had wanted to give it a try. After all, the filming period was short, and the pay was high. However, the competition was too intense. It wouldn't be easy to clinch the role of the racetrack's Grim Reaper. Filming The Story of the Racetrack wasn't the most important thing right now. She had to settle the competition with WW first. The next morning, Lin Yan arrived at Ningnan Arena early in the morning. Lin Yan had informed ZH1 beforehand, so the competition had been designated as a racing event. Hence, there was no need for a navigator. Lin Yan had skipped the He family team and asked ZH1 to give her a spot in the competition. Speaking of which, she wondered if Pei Yuqing had read the news about her. Pei Yuqing hated racing so much. If he found out that she was going to compete, wouldn't she be doomed? However, a big shot like Pei Yuqing probably wouldn't pay attention to this kind of gossip. Lin Yan calmed down at the thought of this. At this moment, the Ningnan Coliseum was packed with people. Due to the special circumstances of this competition, even though it was just a qualifier, everyone was paying close attention to it. The He family team had arrived early in the morning. That woman is here too. The navigator of the He family team frowned in disgust when he saw Lin Yan standing not too far away. Initially, the He family team's navigator had liked Lin Yan. However, Lin Yan's performance 2 days ago had completely erased their good impression of her. What infuriated them even more was that Lin Yan had colluded with ZH1 to replace one of the He family racers with Lin Yan. This is the first time I've heard of a navigator driving a car. Qing Li glanced at Lin Yan and sneered coldly. She's just a navigator, yet she wants to replace one of our racers. Who gave her the courage to do that? What a joke. Does he really think he can become a racer just because he knows some navigator theory? Uncle Xiong, we had no chance of winning in the first place. With this woman messing things up, there's even less of a chance for us to play. He Xiong's eyes darted to Lin Yan. If Yan wants to go, then let her. Anyway, we have no intention of winning this match. He Dinkuan sighed. Chapter 339. He Dinkuan didn't care if Lin Yan had replaced one of the He family racers because of ZH1. Who was the He family's opponent this time? It was WW, one of the most prestigious teams in the country. Given the He family's current standards, it would be impossible for them to win against WW. Now, He Dinkuan had to think about what the He family team would have to face after their defeat. Although ZH1 had officially announced that the He family team was ZH1's substitute team, that wasn't enough. Everyone was cursing and scolding them on the internet. After losing to WW, they would have to bear the infamy of cheating. Besides, the He family team wouldn't be able to receive any more sponsors or investments. This woman, she actually replaced me? A racer wearing a cap was glaring at Lin Yan coldly. Zhang Yun, consider yourself unlucky. Anyway, we won't be able to win this race against WW, so it doesn't matter if you are replaced. One of the He family team members glanced at the young man in the baseball cap. That's true, but what about her? What right does she have? Does she know where the accelerator, clutch, and brakes are? Does she really think that she can do whatever she wants to the He family team just because she won against Old Tang's team? Zhang Yun bellowed coldly. Forget it. After all, she is the old master's granddaughter. So what if she is? Besides, does she even know that she is the old master's granddaughter? If she really thinks that way, she should learn from Qingli and try to persuade ZH1 to change the competition to a rally. Even if we can't beat WW, we can at least make Mingkai famous. Zhang Yun sneered coldly at Lin Yan, who was standing not far from him. He didn't bother to hide the disgust in his eyes. Alright, ignore her. He Mingkai interjected, just focus on our own race. Treat her as heir. Who cares about her? It's just that this woman replaced Zhang Yun. She's really despicable. Even if she can't win, this racetrack is so important. How can she do whatever she wants? Actually, I don't think Miss Lin has any ill intentions. She is just a little ignorant. She thinks that she can race just because she has some navigational knowledge. One of the racers sighed heavily. Moments later, Wei Shufeng and Qi Xiaoyuan entered the arena. This race was a challenge, so reporters from the racing industry couldn't enter. Only the team members and staff, as well as a few invited VIPs, could enter. Wei Shufeng and Qi Xiaoyuan were the VIPs who had entered the race. I'm not really interested in this competition. Wei Shufeng was bored out of his mind as he sat down in the VIP seats. Not interested? Qi Xiaoyuan glanced at Wei Shufeng suspiciously. You're a racing fanatic who would watch a race between Old Tang's team and the He family team. Now you're telling me that you're not interested in WW's competition? No, you're wrong. Wei Shufeng glanced at Qi Xiaoyuan. I'm interested in races where the gap between the two teams isn't huge. That's why there are so many uncertainties. Is there a need to watch WW and the He family team? Chapter 340. Qi Xiaoyuan stroked his chin thoughtfully. That can't be right. We used to watch Boss race every time. Would there be any suspense if Boss was there? Boss is an exception. Watching Boss race is like enjoying the visual impact and the thrill of crushing his opponents. Wei Shufeng shook his head. Let's just watch the competition. Don't talk so much. Perhaps the He family team will win. Qi Xiaoyuan chuckled. The He family team will win against WW? Wei Shufeng glanced at Qi Xiaoyuan. If the He family team wins, I will run around naked. Qi Xiaoyuan, given your standards, you shouldn't be talking about what if the He family team wins. Qi Xiaoyuan sneered coldly. If Boss hadn't been around, he wouldn't have agreed to watch such a competition. Boss wasn't around, so there was no suspense. Boss was around, so there was no suspense. The Chinese language was profound and profound. Qi Xiaoyuan stared at Wei Shufeng with a complicated expression on his face. He had really posted on Weibo that if the He family team won, he would run around naked. How could he be so cruel to himself? He was a ruthless man. God Z and the ZH1 team members arrived at the He family team. The He family team members stood up and nodded at the ZH1 team. Thank you for your hard work today. Mumu grinned. He Xiong replied, don't mention it. God Z and the ZH1 team members trust Mingkai and are giving him a chance to perform. Even if we can't beat a veteran team like WW, Mingkai won't disappoint us. Don't worry. I'm in good shape today, Mingkai replied. God Z was speechless. The ZH1 team members were speechless. God Z, I have something to discuss with you. About Lin Yan. Can you replace her and let Zhang Yun race? Otherwise, she will affect the team's performance. Xiong glanced at God Z. Replace Lin Yan? All the ZH1 team members stared at Xiong in disbelief. Was there something wrong with this man's brain? He had allowed the He family team to be ZH1's substitute team because of Lin Yan. Of course, it wasn't just a matter of pride. If Lin Yan hadn't competed, would they have been able to compete with a top team like WW? Would they have been able to compete on the racetrack? Even if Lin Yan were to compete personally, the ZH1 team wouldn't stand a chance. Naturally, the ZH1 team members knew who this man was. He was Miss Lin Yan's uncle. Even though he was Miss Lin Yan's uncle, he didn't dare to voice his thoughts. Were they supposed to tell Xiong that his son and father were nothing in their eyes? The He family team had become ZH1's substitute team because of Miss Lin Yan and because she had agreed to compete personally. It had nothing to do with his son at all. After all, they were Lin Yan's cousin and uncle. Uncle Xiong, there's a rule that states that you can't replace a team member on the day of the competition. A ZH1 team member grinned at Xiong. Important notice: cute and embarrassed babies. The double monthly votes will be starting from September 28th to October 7th. Babies who still have votes, remember to vote for me after midnight. At that time, 1 vote will be equivalent to 2 votes. Kiss me one by one. Yesterday's kisses in the canvas bag are, Yu Ran Ruoshi, Mu Ji Nai, it's Qian Qian, P.S. We'll continue to draw readers' canvas bags. During the double monthly tickets period, we'll draw 5 babies' canvas bags every day. You just have to record the monthly tickets this month. Chapter 341. Xiong fell into deep thought as he listened to the ZH1 members. Indeed, there was such a rule. On the day of the competition, all the contestants had to be confirmed. Hence, there was no way to replace them. Actually, I have something to say. Xiong contemplated for a moment before he glanced at God Z and the ZH1 members. Uncle Xiong, just speak your mind. ZH1's Mumu grinned. Well, Lin Yan is just an ordinary navigator. She only knows the theory of racing. If we allow her to compete, I'm afraid that she will make a fool of herself. Although she is Mingkai's cousin, we don't have to be bothered by her unreasonable behavior, Xiong replied. Xiong assumed that ZH1 had replaced Zhang Yun because Lin Yan was Mingkai's cousin. The ZH1 members glanced at each other when they heard Xiong. Where did Xiong get his confidence from? His son's racing skills might be considered good in a low-level racing team, but in a mid-level team, he wouldn't even have the qualifications to be a substitute member, let alone a top team like this. Everyone, the competition is about to begin. Thank you for your hard work. God Z glanced at Xiong, Mingkai, and the rest of the He family team with a smile. God Z didn't say anything else as he led the ZH1 team members away. F***CK. Look. After God Z led the ZH1 team members away, one of the He family team's navigators glanced at a group of people who had just entered the venue. They look familiar. Qing Li muttered softly. Wait, they look familiar. Aren't they from the Speed Squad? One of the racers from the He family team exclaimed in disbelief. What? Speed Air. Air Commander's team, Speed. Air Commander, the player who competed against Lang Mang in the second level of the international tournament. That's right. That's him. Xiong looked at Mingkai, who was beside him. Mingkai, did you see how sensational this match is? Even the entire Speed team is here. Mingkai, this is your chance. Qing Li said seriously, even a team as powerful as Speed has personally come to watch this match, As soon as Qingli finished speaking, the members of WW immediately went up to welcome them. "Welcome, Speed," one of the WW members immediately apologized. Speed's captain, Air Commander, was quite famous in the international racing circle. "Please wait a moment, I'll call our captain over," a WW member said excitedly. "No need." Suddenly, a handsome man in a white casual shirt glanced at the WW team and said coldly, "We're not here to look at you." Ah. Hearing Air Commander's words, the WW team members were astonished. This match was between WW and the He family. If Speed wasn't here for WW, then, "We are here for the He family team." "You guys can go back to work," one of the Speed members said impatiently. In their eyes, WW, a top Chinese powerhouse team, was nothing. This time, Speed's purpose was clear. There was only one reason. They were here to watch the racetrack's Grim Reaper, Yeva. Recently, Air Commander had found out all about her. She was the granddaughter of the He family team's boss, He Dinkuan. Chapter 342. The members of Speed, including Air Commander, had never imagined that the reigning champion of the first level, the racetrack's Grim Reaper, would be the granddaughter of the boss of a low-class team in China. It was unbelievable that a small team like the He family team could produce a legend like Yeva. "I can't believe that we actually raced against Yeva. Oh my god. Even if we lost, it was a great honor." One of the Speed members exclaimed excitedly. "Shoo. Keep your voice down. Don't let anyone hear you. Yeva has never shown her face before. If you hear this, you will be killed by her. Miss Yeva is so pretty. How could she be such a cruel person? You're too naive. The racetrack's Grim Reaper? Where did she get her nickname?" Song Yaonan and the others were almost beaten to death by Yeva. "That's true. The racetrack's Grim Reaper is famous for her bad temper among the top racers in the first level of the international competition. I heard that her personality is just like her driving style." The members of the He family stared at He Mingkai in disbelief. Qingli, the navigator, said, "Air Commander, the captain of Speed, said that they came personally to watch the competition not because of WW, but because of the He family team." "Because of the He family?" One of the racers' eyes landed on He Dinkuan. He Dinkuan looked puzzled as well. He had never had any dealings with a legendary team like Speed. He didn't even know the members of Speed or the captain, Air Commander. He had only watched Speed's competitions on videos. Why would Speed come to Ningnan Arena because of the He family team? "I don't know the captain or the members of Speed. I don't have any dealings with them," He Dinkuan replied confidently. Hearing this, Qingli fell into deep thought. Soon after, his gaze fell on He Mingkai. In that case, Speed must be here because of Mingkai. Could it be that Speed has noticed Mingkai and thinks that he has great potential? As Qingli's voice fell, He Xiong nodded repeatedly and said, "That's right, that must be it." He Xiong turned to He Dinkuan with excitement. "Dad, Speed must be here because of Mingkai." He Dinkuan shook his head and chuckled. "Mingkai might be good, but it's a miracle that ZH1 is interested in him. It's impossible for a legendary team like Speed to do so." "Impossible? Grandpa, why not?" Even the captain of Speed, Air Commander, said that they are here for the He family team. "Grandpa, you don't even know them. My driving skills are the best in the He family team. If they aren't here for me, who else could they be here for?" He Mingkai frowned. "Dad, Mingkai is right. None of us have anything to do with Speed. They must be here for Mingkai. Although Mingkai's skills aren't at the top level yet, he has great potential. A legendary team like theirs loves to look for young racers with potential," He Xiong said. He Dinkuan turned to He. He wanted to, but He Xiong, master, wanted, commander, and wanted to say. This was strange. Based on Mingkai's skills, it was impossible for a legendary team like Speed to pick him. Even if he Minkai had potential, the entire Speed team wouldn't have come personally. Was he really getting old and unable to see he Minkai's potential? Chapter 343. Before long, Air Commander led the Speed team to where the He family team was. Air Commander grinned at the excited He family members. You guys are the He family team. It's an honor to meet you. You managed to groom Y. Oh, it's fine. We are just here to watch. We really like one of your racers. I hope we didn't disturb you. Upon hearing Air Commander's words, He Xiong immediately stepped forward. Not at all. It's our honor to have Speed here to cheer for our Minkai. Air Commander and the rest of the Speed team were taken aback. Minkai? He was the racer of the He family team, He Dinkuan's grandson, and Yeva's cousin. I'm rooting for you guys. Good luck. Air Commander chuckled awkwardly. However, they were Yeva's family members, so he couldn't comment further. After Air Commander led Speed's members to the VIP seats, Qingli smirked. What do you think? Did I get it right? Speed is here for Minkai. He Xiong glanced at He Dinkuan excitedly. Dad, did you see that? Old Master He Dinkuan was puzzled. That shouldn't be the case. Was he Minkai's potential really that great? Even Speed was there to watch him. Was he really getting old? Was he too old to keep up with the times? Soon, WW and the He family team entered their respective arenas. Their cars were already on the track, and the competition was about to begin. He Xiong glared at Lin Yen coldly. Lin Yen, if you affect Minkai's performance, you will have to bear the consequences. Miss Lin Yen, you have to know that ZH1 has taken a liking to Minkai. Besides, Speed's Air Force and team members are all here. Miss Lin Yen, you might not know about Speed, but I still hope that you won't race. You can say that you're not feeling well and apply to leave. That way, we can let Zhang Yun race again. Lin Yen glanced at Qingli expressionlessly and said, Scram. Everyone in the He family team was taken aback. How could Lin Yen tell Qingli to scram? Did she know who she was talking to? He was the best navigator of the He family team. Even He Dinkuan had to give Qingli some face. What, did you say? Qingli's eyes gleamed coldly as he stared at Lin Yen. What did this woman think she was? Lin Yen. How dare you speak to me like that? He Xiong bellowed at Lin Yen. Lin Yen yawned and put on her helmet. She didn't even glance at He Xiong and the others. She turned around and left the venue. She was the first to enter the racetrack. She opened the door and sat down. This bastard. The veins on He Xiong's forehead bulged as he watched Lin Yen enter the track. Dad, who does she think she is? Without me, would she have been able to meet the ZH1 team, the Speed team, and so many important people? She's just like her mother, an ingrate. He Minkai said coldly. Forget it. Qingli glanced at He Xiong. Uncle Xiong, this race is very important. Let's just pretend that she doesn't exist. However, I hope that this woman will never have anything to do with the He family team again. I feel that she will bring harm to Minkai and the He family team. That wretched girl. He Xiong hissed coldly. The old master has spoiled her too much. After this race, I will make her pay. Don't forget to get double the monthly votes. Pick 5 people from the comments and get a canvas bag. You just have to record the monthly votes this month. Chapter 344. At the VIP area of Ningnan Arena, Wei Shufeng stared at the group of people seated in the distance, looking slightly surprised. He nudged Qi Xiaoyuan with the back of his hand. Hey, is that the Air Force team? Qi Xiaoyuan turned to look at them and nodded. It's Speed. Indeed, it's the Air Force team. Wei Shufeng's expression turned odd. If it's WW against ZH1, I could understand. However, why would Speed come to watch the competition between WW and the He family team? I've never heard of Speed interacting with WW or ZH1. They are on a completely different level. Qi Xiaoyuan found it odd that a team like Speed would come to Ningnan Arena to watch the competition. Logically speaking, he was the only one who knew about Boss's identity. Speed shouldn't have known that Lin Yan was Yeva. In that case, why would they come? Oh yeah. Wei Shufeng's eyes trailed to Qi Xiaoyuan. Have you heard about Boss? What happened to Boss? Qi Xiaoyuan asked unconsciously. Boss has retired. I think she retired due to her injury. Wei Shufeng sighed heavily, looking a little disappointed. I heard about it, but I don't know the details, replied Qi Xiaoyuan. Back then, Lin Yan had been banned from competing overseas for taking illegal drugs. This news hadn't spread, and there had been many suspicions about it. Hence, it had been announced that Yeva had retired due to her injury. First of all, everyone had witnessed Yeva's abilities. Her nickname as the racetrack's Grim Reaper wasn't just for show. She had been invincible at the first level of the international competition and she had held many records. Given Yeva's abilities, it didn't make sense for her to take illegal drugs during a competition. Moreover, racing was different from other things. Illegal drugs wouldn't have the slightest bit of benefit to racing. Instead, it would cause the racers to perform abnormally, even leading to irreversible accidents. Any racer, as long as they were normal and had a normal mind, would never consume illegal drugs. However, Lin Yan hadn't given any explanation at the time. She had simply left the competition, looking dejected. In addition, several large corporations hated Yeva and her racing team to the core. Those consortiums all had the world's top racing teams under their banner. Unfortunately, Yeva had dominated the first level of the international competition, which made them hate her. Hence, Lin Yan had no choice but to leave quietly. After all, racing was considered a competitive event, and it wasn't advisable to use illegal drugs. Although the various consortiums used this incident to pressure Yeva and the team behind her, they also knew that the news of Yeva consuming illegal drugs wouldn't stand. Given Yeva's influence and skills, no one would believe that she would consume illegal drugs in the first level of the competition. Hence, they tacitly agreed that Yeva had retired due to her injuries. Recently, news of Yeva's situation had started to spread. The public only knew that Yeva had been injured and couldn't race for the time being. Hence, she had retired temporarily. As for where she was recuperating and whether she had plans to return to the racing track, there was no news. No one knew. No one would have expected that Yeva, who had once dominated the first level of the international competition, would be competing in the Ningnan Arena for a small team like the He family team. Chapter 345. Air Commander stared at the silver car at the starting line and muttered under his breath, "This is unbelievable. Didn't the racetrack's Grim Reaper, Yeva, retire because of her injuries? Captain, even if Yeva is injured, she can still defeat a team like WW with her eyes closed. The difference is too great. They are worlds apart," one of the Speed team members said. "Let alone beating WW with his eyes closed, even beating the captain with his eyes closed should be a piece of cake," another member said. He did not forget to sneak a glance at Air Commander beside him after he finished speaking. Air Commander didn't retort. After all, this was the truth. Even if Yeva had retired because of her injuries, she would still be able to beat him on the track. In the preparation area, the He family team was ready. The He family team hadn't come up with any strategy for this race, as the disparity between them and WW was too great. Any strategy would be useless against a team like WW. Instead, it would be a joke. Hence, it was better to let the members do whatever they wanted. "Mingkai, be bold. This race will be the turning point of your racing career." Qing Li, who was standing beside him, glanced at He Mingkai. "We definitely don't stand a chance of winning this race, but that's not important anymore. ZH1 values you so much. At the very least, you can become a member of ZH1. Air Commander is here today, which proves that you have great potential. I believe that Speed is interested in you. After this race, Speed will invite you to join their team, Qingli added. Hearing this, He Xiong nodded and looked at He Mingkai. Mingkai, do your best. WW is nothing. Don't be intimidated by their reputation. Qingli is right. If you can enter the Speed battle team, it will be enough to prove your potential. In the future, you will leave WW in the dust. Dad, I understand, He Mingkai said proudly. Mingkai, regardless of whether you choose ZH1 or Speed, I will be by your side. I will help you dig out more of your potential. This race is all up to you. The corners of Qing Li's mouth curled up. The race is about to start. Get on the track. The old master, He Dingkuan, strode over to them. The members of the He family team nodded and walked towards the starting point. All the members of WW were ready to board their cars. The He family team members opened their car doors and got into the driver's seats as well. The race was about to begin, and the crowd fell silent. As the signal flag was waved, there was a buzzing sound, and a dozen cars instantly rushed forward. However, there was only one silver car left at the starting point. Is that the He family team's car? Isn't it going? What's going on? Seeing this, the crowd in the arena could not understand. This kind of thing had never happened before. Old Master He Dingkuan and He Xiong stood in the stands, their eyes fixed on the silver car that had yet to make a move. Dad, is this your granddaughter? She's a disgrace to the He family team. He Xiong sneered coldly. Forget it. Let Yen be. She doesn't know how to drive anyway. It's safer this way, He Dingkuan said. Dad, you should be glad that you have a grandson like Mingkai, He Xiong said. Chapter 346. What's going on? Air Commander, who was seated in the VIP area, stared at the silver car as he mumbled to himself. This wasn't Yeva's style. Air Commander had studied Yeva's racing style thoroughly. However, he couldn't understand what was happening this time. Captain, did she deliberately go easy on them? A Speed member piped up suddenly. Hearing this, Air Commander was stunned. Going easy on them? Captain, look at Yeva's level and WW's level. If I were Yeva, I wouldn't be interested in competing against a team like WW. If she didn't go easy on them, why would she even race? It would be too boring. Meanwhile, in the silver car, F*CK. Where is the death mode? Lin Yen cocked her head to the side as she stared intently at the dashboard. ZH1 had provided her with these cars, so she hadn't been familiar with them. Found it. Lin Yen grinned and tapped on the dashboard. The next second, the silver racing car let out a roar that sounded like a wild beast. Lin Yen pulled the handbrake and stomped on the accelerator with her right foot. In an instant, the beast-like sound waves became even louder. The two rear wheels spun wildly, but the car remained stationary. God Z looked at the silver car with a deep frown. She has turned off all the auxiliary systems, no way. What was Miss Lin Yen thinking? She couldn't have done that. Mumu replied, I believe in Miss Lin Yen. I believe that Speed has witnessed her driving skills. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief when they heard Mumu. Indeed, they had witnessed Lin Yan's driving skills with their own eyes. Whoosh! As soon as Mumu finished speaking, Lin Yan's silver car transformed into a streak of silver light that sped forward at a breakneck speed. At this moment, the He family team was on the track. A sense of hopelessness welled up in everyone's hearts. They hadn't thought much of it before, but now that they had raced against WW, they realized that WW's control was terrifying. It was far beyond what they could handle. The He family team was like a newborn baby, while the WW team was like an adult. There was no comparison at all. Any one of WW's racers could crush them easily. How could they be so strong? He Mingkai gritted his teeth. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't catch up with WW's car. He couldn't even catch up to them. The commentator said, "All right, we finally see the He family team's silver car moving. If I'm not wrong, this racer isn't very familiar with the car. Haha. I can tell that he hasn't done his homework. He actually turned off all the auxiliary systems. We have to know that it's meaningless to turn off all the auxiliary systems at the start of the race. Instead, it would be dangerous for him to control the car. Of course, the He family racer's car is indeed very fast after turning off all the auxiliary systems. However, there is a sharp turn ahead, so he had better turn on the auxiliary systems immediately." As the commentator's voice trailed off, the silver racing car finally returned to the public's line of sight. About 400 to 500 meters ahead, the first sharp turn on the track greeted them. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit IAI. Chapter 347. The commentator said, the He family racer didn't activate any assistance system after about 300 meters. I believe that she is the only racer in the He family team who is very smart. Even so, how is she going to make such a sharp turn without any assistance system? As the commentator finished speaking, everyone watched as Lin Yan's silver car made a sharp turn and swayed rapidly. Since there wasn't any vehicle assistance system, the silver car swayed even more violently. Just then, the silver car sped up. The front right wheel of the car actually brushed past the curve of the road. The curve was very short, so the silver car was still drifting and out of control. Coincidentally, one of the racers from the He family team was in front of it. F***CK. The He family racer instinctively glanced at the rearview mirror as he heard the roar of a beast. He watched as Lin Yan's car swerved to the left, using his car as a stepping stone. After overtaking the He family racer's car, Lin Yan made a sharp turn and steadied the car. Then, she disappeared in the blink of an eye. The commentator said, "Beautiful. Her maneuvering was so beautiful. The He family team is indeed capable." Even after turning off all the assistance system, she still managed to make a sharp turn. She even used her teammate's car as a stepping stone and drifted past him. Nice. This must be a lie. Is that Lin Yan? The He family racer, who had been overtaken by Lin Yan, was stunned. Lin Yan had turned off the assistance system, so her car was traveling at a much faster speed. In the blink of an eye, she had overtaken all the He family racers. He Mingkai's car was right in front of Lin Yan. How did she catch up? He Mingkai was startled when he saw Lin Yan's silver car in the rearview mirror. Instinctively, He Mingkai positioned his car in front of the silver car so that Lin Yan wouldn't overtake him. "You're in the way." Lin Yan was expressionless as she forced He Mingkai's car to move away. After overtaking him, Lin Yan's car deliberately slammed on the brakes. Seeing this, He Mingkai's expression changed drastically. He quickly stepped on the brakes, but even so, the car still rammed into the back of the silver racing car. A second later, Lin Yan grinned and stepped on the accelerator. She disappeared without a trace. Bastard. At that moment, He Mingkai's car came to a stop, and he broke out in a cold sweat. That damned woman was deliberately toying with him. Impossible. How is this possible? He Mingkai couldn't believe his eyes. How could Lin Yan know how to race? How could she surpass him in such a short time? At this moment, the silver car was in berserk mode, chasing after WW's car. Oh my god, is this woman crazy? Don't block her. She's turned off all support modes. She'll really crash into us. One of the WW team members was pale, and his forehead was covered in cold sweat. If he hadn't dodged in time, he would have perished together with the silver car. Chapter 348. How could there be such a person? That's impossible. The He family team doesn't have this kind of standard. She had given up on all the auxiliary systems and charged recklessly on the track. She had disregarded all the other cars. Even though the car in front had deliberately blocked her, she had stepped on the accelerator without any hesitation. There were only two possibilities. The first possibility was that this woman was a lunatic. She wasn't here to race. She was here to commit suicide. The second was that this woman was completely confident. Even so, at the last moment, she was still able to handle all possible situations perfectly. However, the WW team members didn't want to gamble. They were here to compete, not to perish together with someone else. If they didn't give way, and if they really collided with it, with such an impact, the car would be destroyed and people would die. There was no such thing as luck. Oh. WW's captain glanced at the silver car in the rearview mirror. There were many obstacles on the track, and it wasn't a straight line. As long as the obstacles were handled perfectly, the car in front would close the gap in an instant. That was unless the two racers' cars were on the same level, or even if the racers' skills were on the same level. That was the only way to keep the distance. However, that wasn't the case. The silver car was right behind them. The last track was extremely narrow, so there was no space for them to overtake. There was also no buffer zone. Logically speaking, they wouldn't be overtaken. If you want to overtake me, come and try. WW's captain grinned as he entered the narrow track. Lin Yan, who was deep in thought, steered to the left the moment the car in front entered the narrow track. There was a steep slope at the edge of the track. What is she trying to do? Out of the field, God Z was shocked. Wasn't this going to leave the track? Once she left the track, she would be eliminated immediately. Without giving anyone a chance to think, the silver car sped up the steep slope without any buffer zone. The moment it entered the steep slope, it sped up again. Whoosh! A second later, everyone watched in disbelief as the silver car sped across the slope. The entire car flew into the air and Lin Yan swerved to the right as it left the slope. The silver car, which had been about to leave the track, miraculously returned to the track. Bang! There was a loud noise. The silver car landed right in front of WW's captain's car. What? At that moment, the members of the TWW team stared at the silver car that had landed in front of them, their pupils constricting. He had been looking at the rearview mirror the entire time, so he had seen everything that had happened to the silver racing car. At this moment, Shuang Wan's captain's mind was blank. He could only watch as the silver vehicle rushed into the center of the map. He had no way to turn the situation around or stop it. Everything happened too fast and too unexpected. Liar, liar, liar. Everyone in the He family team was dumbfounded. Even the old man, He Dingkuan, was dumbfounded. Ever since Lin Yan's silver car had overtaken He Mingkai, they had felt that something was amiss. Lin Yan's silver car was simply a show. Chapter 349. The navigators of the He family team were stunned. Was that really Lin Yan's car? Putting everything else aside, just the way he overtook WW's captain in the end could only be described as breathtaking. It was simply too amazing. How was this a race? This was clearly a performance. How could this be, how could this be possible? He Xiong stared at Lin Yan, who had opened the car door absent-mindedly and stepped out of the driver's seat. When He Xiong was young, he was also a racer. He had raced on many tracks and met many racers, but he had never seen such driving skills. Not far away, the smile on Qing Li's face had long since frozen. Did she open it? Could there be someone else in the car? One of the navigators asked with a face full of suspicion. I think there's something strange going on. How could there be such driving skills? It's more like some kind of performance. Another navigator sitting beside Qingli said anxiously. Are you an idiot? Zhang Yun, who had been replaced, glared at the navigators. Are you guys stupid, or is WW stupid? How could they cheat in such a competition? Lin Yan was the only one in the car. As Zhang Yun's voice fell, the two navigators were speechless. She replaced me. Now I have nothing to say. She single-handedly won the entire WW. Zhang Yun stared at the silver car on the track, his face full of shock. He Dinkuan stood in the distance, unable to recover from the shock. Impossible. How could she be so strong? She's just a navigator. How could she surpass Mingkai? He Xiong's expression was ugly. She didn't overtake Mingkai. She overtook all the racers on the track while she was on the show. At this moment, Air Commander slowly walked over. Air Commander turned to He Dinkuan and chuckled. Senior He, your granddaughter is really amazing. I can tell that you were an outstanding racer when you were young. He Dinkuan snapped out of his daze. Oh. Air Force God, you're too kind. Suddenly, He Xiong said, that's impossible. There must be a problem, or it's just luck. Luck? One of the speed members frowned as he glanced at He Xiong and the others. I'm afraid you have some misunderstanding about why. Miss Lin Yan. This is totally within our expectations. We came here to watch Miss Lin compete. How could it be luck? What did you say? He Xiong was stunned. Didn't you come from Mingkai? Qingli frowned and looked at Air Commander and the others. Mingkai? One of the team members was slightly stunned. Who is Mingkai? Oh, he's Miss Lin's cousin. He's also an ordinary racer from the He family team, explained another racer. Hearing this, He Xiong and Qingli couldn't believe it. They didn't even know who He Mingkai was? And an ordinary racer from the He family team? How could he be ordinary? Lin Yan removed her helmet and walked to the He family team. The ZH1 team members followed him excitedly. Everyone from Speed, it's been a long time. Godzi glanced at Air Commander and the others. Yeah, it's been a long time since we lost to Miss Lin Yan. Miss Lin Yan sent all of us out of the racetrack on her own. This time, she sent WW out of the racetrack on her own. However, WW is only slightly stronger than their captain. One of the Speed members chuckled. As the man finished speaking, Qingli, He Xiong, and the others were completely dumbfounded. Lin Yan had sent Speed out of the racetrack with her own hands? End of update. This chapter will continue to draw canvas bags from my baby. I will announce the list of 50 canvas bags during the period of the double monthly ticket event on October 7th. Mobile users, please browse and read. A better reading experience is coming from LoveNet. Chapter 350. All the members of the He family team were in a daze. The navigators of the He family team couldn't believe their eyes. They had personally sent Speed out of the racetrack. Furthermore, Lin Yan had done it alone. How could such a thing have happened? However, why would a team as powerful as Speed have to lie? What was their motive? Besides, they had witnessed with their own eyes that Lin Yan had sent WW out of the racetrack. The members of the He family team glanced at each other. Did this mean that Lin Yan had possessed top-notch racing skills right from the start? Now that they thought about it, the elimination race with Old Tang's team wasn't a coincidence. Not only was Lin Yan a top-notch racer, but she was also a top-notch navigator. The funny thing was that they had mocked and ridiculed Lin Yan. They had even suggested that Lin Yan should become Qing Li's disciple. Before long, a few of the He family racers turned to look at Qing Li, thinking back to what Qing Li had said before. It was truly laughable. What had he said? That Lin Yan's piloting skills were average. That she had won because of luck. Qing Li was indeed the best navigator in the He family team. However, the He family team was just a small team, so Qing Li was at most an intermediate navigator. How dare he mock and ridicule a top-notch racer and navigator? He had even led them into a ditch. Many members of the He family team finally understood why Lin Yan hadn't retorted in the face of all the mockery and ridicule. If they had been in Lin Yan's shoes, they wouldn't have bothered to explain themselves if they had met a rookie. Because they wouldn't have bothered. He was disdainful, so he wouldn't bother to explain anything. The difference between them was too great, so they wouldn't have bothered to explain themselves. In Lin Yan's eyes, all of them were insignificant ants that weren't even worth mentioning. Many of the racers who had mocked and ridiculed Lin Yan before were flushed with embarrassment. They wished they could dig a hole and hide in it. Lin Yan, how dare you set me up on the track? He Mingkai strode over and glared at Lin Yan. Grandfather, Dad, if it hadn't been for her, I wouldn't have gotten this result. She deliberately set me up so that I would lose face in front of ZH1 and Speed. Hearing this, He Xiong clenched his teeth, as if he wanted to say something, but in the end, not a single word came out. F***CK. ZH1 and Speed are here because of me. Without me, you wouldn't have been able to participate in this competition. Where did you learn your driving skills? How dare you trick me on the track? You ingrate. He Mingkai was furious. My friend. Suddenly, Air Commander's eyes landed on He Mingkai. I think you have misunderstood something. Speed is here to cheer for Miss Lin Yan. As for you, I'm sorry, we really don't know each other. My words might sound harsh, but please don't take it to heart. Given your racing skills, you might not even be able to join an ordinary team in the country. He Mingkai froze when he heard Air Commander. What had he just said? Speed wasn't here because of him? Brother Mingkai, the fact that you can participate in this competition. No, the fact that your family can participate in this competition is because we have confidence in Miss Lin Yan. That's why we allowed the He family team to represent ZH1 in the competition. You might have misunderstood. ZH1's Mumu grinned at He Mingkai. Chapter 351. Speed and ZH1 could tell that He Mingkai and Lin Yan didn't have a good relationship. They might even be enemies. In that case, there was no need for them to give He Mingkai and his team any face on Lin Yan's account. He Mingkai, with your driving skills, you might not be able to beat any regular team member. Who taught you and your father that you are so strong? One of the ZH1 racers glanced at He Mingkai and He Xiong. Oh yeah, that navigator of yours is called Qingli. He can't even remember the basic rules, yet he wants Miss Lin Yan to be his disciple. This must be the funniest joke I've ever heard in my life. That's right. Miss Lin Yan defeated all the members of Speed, yet she still wants to be his disciple? Has she been sitting in a well for too long that she doesn't know what the sky looks like? Qingli's face darkened when he heard this, but he couldn't utter a single word. Lin Yan. Her. Beat Speed? He Mingkai gasped in disbelief. That's impossible. That's impossible. Something must have gone wrong. How could she beat me? Air Commander's eyes trailed to Lin Yan as he chuckled softly. Miss Lin Yan. Can we exchange contact details? I have some racing techniques that I would like to learn from you, me? Lin Yan glanced at Air Commander and grinned. Air Commander, my piloting skills are superficial. It was pure luck that I won against Speed and WW. Air Commander hastily replied, Miss Lin, you're too humble. What kind of joke was this? Did he think that he didn't know that she was the racetrack's Grim Reaper? I'm telling the truth. Lin Yan inhaled deeply and rejected him patiently. Speaking of which, isn't Air Commander's attitude towards me a little too strange? Even if she had won against them, he wouldn't have been so polite. After all, racers were prideful. Even if they had lost, they wouldn't have admitted defeat. Everyone in the He family team stared at Lin Yan in shock. Air Commander wanted to exchange contact details with Lin Yan, but Lin Yan had rejected him. Miss Lin, don't be like this. Just keep it. I promise not to disturb you. Really? Air Commander continued to pester him. It was the racetrack's Grim Reaper. He had to get it. He had to take advantage of the fact that Yeva was Lin Yen right now. Otherwise, when she resumed her identity as the racetrack's Grim Reaper, it would be extremely difficult for him to meet her, let alone contact her. Lin Yen was rendered speechless by Air Commander's pestering. In the end, she had no choice but to exchange contact information with him. Air Commander was satisfied when he received Lin Yen's contact. All right, Miss Lin Yen. We won't disturb you today. We have something to attend to, so we'll make a move. After saying that, Air Force knew when to stop. Then, he led Speed and the others away. Captain, give me your contact number. Captain. I want it too. Lin Yen was speechless. The members of WW hadn't shown up yet, as though they were indignant. However, Lin Yen didn't care. This had nothing to do with her. Even if WW didn't show up, it didn't mean that they had won. Grandfather, I still have something to do, so I'll be leaving first. Lin Yen tossed her helmet and gloves aside and grinned at Hidingkuan. Before Hidingkuan could snap back to his senses, Lin Yen had already left, leaving the shocked He family members behind. Chapter 352. The ZH1 team was the most excited team right now. If they had competed against WW, they would have lost the competition and lost the right to enter the third level of the international competition. They would also have been ridiculed by the entire industry. WW's original intention had been to provoke them and take revenge. However, ZH1 had miraculously won the competition and entered the third level of the international competition. God Z had never been so thankful for his decision. He had been so wise. God Z glanced at Hidingkuan and said gratefully, Old Master He, we will remember this favor. Please thank Miss Lin Yen on my behalf. Hidingkuan, who was still in shock, replied hastily, You're too kind. Actually, the He family team hadn't helped at all. It was all Xiaoyan's fault. God Z sighed heavily and replied regretfully, I had wanted to invite Miss Lin Yen to join ZH1, but she rejected me. I was puzzled at the time, but I soon realized that she was your granddaughter. No wonder she insisted on staying and helping the He family team. The members of the He family team glanced at each other awkwardly. Lin Yen had rejected God Z's invitation and joined the He family team, yet they had treated her with such an attitude. They had even thought that it was He Mingkai's doing. If He Mingkai had been that capable, the He family team wouldn't have ended up in this state. They had been too narrow-minded and arrogant. Meanwhile, at the VIP seats, Qi Xiaoyuan stared at Wei Shufeng, who was flabbergasted. He waved his right hand in front of Wei Shufeng's eyes and grinned. Brother, are you going to run? A certain someone had posted on Weibo that if the He family team won, he would run naked, F***CKU. Wei Shufeng snapped back to his senses and glared at Qi Xiaoyuan. Mr. Wei, I would like to interview you. I want to know how you are feeling right now. Qi Xiaoyuan chuckled softly as he sat beside Wei Shufeng. Wei Shufeng frowned as he tried to recall what had happened earlier. How could that be? How could Lin Yen be so good at racing? Could it be that she was a racing genius? Had she been practicing all this while? Or had she always been good at racing? No matter how good she was, there was no way she could beat a top team like WW. Was there something fishy going on? However, he had seen it with his own eyes. Lin Yen was indeed a good driver. Besides, she was the one who had driven the car. This couldn't be fake. Lin Yen. She doesn't look like she's competing. She looks like she's performing. Wei Shufeng muttered under his breath. Actually, any normal racer could achieve a good stage performance, but it was impossible to beat WW with a stage performance. Unless WW had deliberately allowed Lin Yen to win. However, it didn't seem realistic. Why would WW allow the He family team to win? Wei Shufeng, hurry up and fulfill your promise. You still need an autograph from me last time. Isn't that inappropriate? Qi Xiaoyuan grinned at Wei Shufeng. Wei Shufeng rolled his eyes at Qi Xiaoyuan. Scram. Meanwhile, Lin Yan had just left the preparation area. As she walked past the stands, she caught a glimpse of a familiar figure. Lin Yan staggered when she saw who it was. She was scared out of her wits. Holy shit. Pei Yucheng, I would like to emphasize that all of you, especially those who are students, shouldn't donate money just for the sake of the activities. We have many activities, including the building a building and book review. There are also many prizes, so it's easy to win prizes. Many of you have already won many prizes. P.S. A new month has begun. Let's double the monthly tickets. Our Rest of Life only has 4 months to ask for tickets this year, so I'm begging the fairies for more support. I'm going to continue writing. I'll try to write more today. Chapter 353. Why was Pei Yucheng here? Why was he sitting on the VIP seats? Lin Yan's brain seemed to have stopped working. To make matters worse, Pei Yucheng seemed to have spotted her as well. His eyes darted in her direction. Lin Yan stood rooted to the ground as Pei Yutong scampered over to her. Lin Yan pulled him over and whispered, "Why is your brother here? Did you tell him about the competition?" Pei Yutong scowled miserably. How could that be possible? I'm a tight-lipped person. I don't know how my brother found out. I was stunned when he suddenly appeared. Why didn't you tell me earlier? You were about to start the competition. I was afraid that it would affect your performance. Affect my ass. In a competition of this level, what could possibly affect their performance? However, Lin Yan glanced at Pei Yucheng and swallowed her saliva. That might not be the case. Perhaps it would really affect. Sister-in-law, you should think about what to do now. It wasn't easy for the two of you to get back together. Don't break up again. I really can't take this blow. Pei Yutong spoke in despair. Lin Yan's face darkened. She had broken up with Pei Yucheng, not with him. Why would he suffer such a blow? Lin Yan felt a headache coming on. Does your brother really hate racing that much? Pei Yutong muttered under his breath, my brother chased me out of the house because of racing. Every time I mention racing. No, even if I drive a little faster, my brother gets angry. What do you think? Lin Yan was dumbfounded. Isn't that the end? Pei Yutong replied, I think so too. Lin Yan was speechless. She had no choice but to bite the bullet and walk toward Pei Yucheng. The man was dressed casually today. Even though he was dressed casually, he was still so handsome that it made one's heart skip a beat. Is the competition over? Pei Yucheng glanced at the girl. Judging from the man's expression, he didn't seem angry at all. However, it was hard to guess Pei Yucheng's emotions, so Lin Yan couldn't figure out his attitude. Lin Yan nodded cautiously. Ahem. Yes. It's over. Shall we have dinner together? How could Lin Yan say no? She nodded eagerly. Okay. Okay, Lin Yan couldn't help but ask, Mr. Pei, did you watch my competition? Pei Yucheng nodded. I did. Tears streamed down Lin Yan's cheeks. Wasn't she being caught in public? That, how should I put it, actually, or she could say that she didn't know how to race at all and didn't like racing. She was only doing it for Grandpa's team and was forced to do it. Even if she won, it would have been pure luck. Lin Yan was racking her brains for an explanation when he suddenly stroked her hair. His deep and magnetic voice was low and husky. What reward do you want for winning the competition? Huh? Lin Yan, who was dumbfounded, couldn't react in time. Not only wasn't Pei Yucheng angry, but he even wanted to reward her. Pei Yutong, who was listening intently in the front passenger seat, was speechless. Is there nothing you want? Pei Yucheng gazed at her quietly. He paused for a moment before he said, anything you want. The indulgence and pampering in the man's eyes were like warm seawater wrapping around her, simply enough to drown her. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit Self-Love website. Chapter 354. Lin Yan was speechless. Pei Yutong was speechless. His big brother hadn't watched any of his races, but he had attended his sister-in-law's race. If he won, he wouldn't even get a wheel. If his sister-in-law won, she would give him everything she wanted. His brother was simply a world-renowned double standard. Forget it. As long as big brother and sister-in-law were in love, he didn't care how much he suffered. Actually, Lin Yan was surprised by Pei Yucheng's attitude. She asked in a daze, "Mr. Pei, aren't you angry that I went to race?" Pei Yucheng propped his hand on his forehead and gazed at the girl intently. "Why would I be angry? You look beautiful on the track." Lin Yan was speechless. The moment Pei Yucheng said that, Lin Yan felt as though her heart had melted into a flowing stream in spring. She had only felt occasional feelings for Pei Yucheng in the past, but now, this was the first time she really wanted to be with him. Pei Yutong tilted his head and glanced at Qing Imo. "Actually, I'm very handsome when I race." Qing Imo was speechless. "Have you thought about it?" asked Pei Yucheng. Lin Yan snapped back to her senses and realized what had just happened. She was startled by her own thoughts. Was she crazy? How dare she covet Pei Yucheng? Lin Yan scratched her head and said hastily, "I don't think there's a reward. Besides, I don't think I want anything." Actually, Pei Yucheng's "I can have anything" was really bewitching. Pei Yucheng replied nonchalantly, "There's no rush. You can think about it slowly. It's effective any time." The car arrived at Pei Yucheng's villa. They saw Pei Nanxiu as soon as they entered. Pei Nanxiu stood up and smiled warmly. "You're back." Pei Nanxiu glanced at Lin Yan and asked casually, "Big sister-in-law, I heard that you participated in a race today." "Yeah. How did you know?" "I accidentally saw the gossip. I wanted to go with Big Brother to support you, but I had work to do today, so I couldn't go," explained Pei Nanxiu. "I see, indeed, the gossip had leaked." However, she hadn't expected Pei Yucheng to read the gossip. "How was the competition?" asked Pei Nanxiu. Because it was only a low-level qualifier, it would not be broadcast on TV, let alone live broadcast. People outside the circle would not pay attention to this kind of race. Only some fans at the scene would know the results of the race. Before Lin Yan could respond, Pei Yutong interjected excitedly, "My big sister-in-law will definitely win." "Is there still any suspense?" Pei Nanxiu chuckled lightly. "I didn't expect you to have such a special ability. Actually, this competition is a good opportunity to change the fans' impression of you." Lin Yan nodded furiously. "Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. My manager, Zhao Hongling, has promised the company that she has to top the sales within 3 months. Otherwise, she will have to resign from her position as the director of the talent recruitment department. Hence, I've been thinking of ways to boost my sales. There's not much time left, so I'm thinking that I'll create a wave of momentum after the movie is released, and then use this competition to create another wave of momentum. With the 2 waves of popularity together, it shouldn't be a problem to rush to the top of the sales within the final time limit." For mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit the website. Chapter 355. Pei Nanxiu listened to Lin Yan's analysis and quipped, "It seems like you have it all planned out. No wonder my brother is so confident in you. Previously, when we asked my brother if we needed to help you, my brother said that you could handle it yourself." Lin Yan glanced at Pei Yucheng in surprise. Pei Yucheng's trust, understanding, and respect had touched her even more than her heart had ever been moved. "Thank you." Lin Yan glanced at Pei Yucheng and couldn't help but thank him. "Thank you, for trusting me." She had been despised by the entire world. Pei Yucheng bent over and poured a glass of juice for Lin Yan. "You're welcome. I have always had good taste." Lin Yan felt as though she had been injected with adrenaline when she heard Pei Yucheng's words. Just when she had thought that Pei Yucheng was blind, he had said that he had always had good taste. Boss thought so highly of her. Lin Yan replied excitedly, I promised Mr. Pei that I would enter Summit Entertainment. I can't just enter just like that. Of course, I have to sign it in a glamorous manner. Don't worry, I will work hard. Huh? Why did it sound like she was going to marry him in a glamorous manner? Pei Yucheng glanced at the girl, who looked as though she wanted to work hard and contribute to the company. Helplessness flickered in his eyes as he retrieved a document from the drawer. The contract is ready. Take a look and see if there are any amendments. If there are no problems, you can sign it at any time. Lin Yan took the contract. Can I buy one get two free? My manager and assistant have been working together for a long time. I guarantee that my manager is very capable, and my assistant is very attentive, gentle, and sweet. Pei Yucheng replied, It's up to you. You can decide. I will get my assistant to prepare a copy of the contract. She hadn't expected that Pei Yucheng would agree without hesitation. Lin Yan stared at the man in front of her. It was as though a pair of pure white wings had sprouted from his back. He was like an angel. What do you want to eat tonight? I'll cook for you, Pei Yucheng said as he prepared to cook. Lin Yan was speechless. Lin Yan felt a chill down her spine when she heard this. He was going to cook again. Pei Yutang spat out a mouthful of juice and Pei Nanxiu looked nervous. Lin Yan replied hastily, No, it's okay. How can I let Mr. Pei cook for me personally? That's right, big brother. Let the chef at home do it. Big sister-in-law hasn't tried the new chef's cooking yet. Pei Yutang chimed in. Pei Nanxiu replied, Big brother, I didn't know that you were going to cook. I asked the kitchen to prepare the food. Lin Yan grabbed his arm when she saw that he was still contemplating. We don't meet often. It's rare for us to meet again. Can you spend more time with me? Pei Yucheng glanced at the girl's arm. Okay. Pei Yutang looked excited. Big sister-in-law, well done. Pei Nanxiu heaved a sigh of relief. In case he wanted to cook again, she led him to the bedroom. Initially, Lin Yan had been worried that there would be an awkward silence when she was alone with Pei Yucheng. In the end, Pei Yucheng chatted casually with her about the trivial matters of his life. He didn't seem awkward at all. Chapter 356. In the living room, Pei Nanxiu glanced at Cheng Imo. How's my brother's condition? Cheng Imo clicked on a photo on his phone and replied, Ever since the last incident, President Pei's condition has been extremely unstable. The chairman has already transferred all the experts from the United States to the country to be on standby in case of an emergency. The doctor just sent the test results. He said that President Pei's condition exceeded the limits 6 times today, but there was a period where his condition was stable. Hence, he asked me what he was doing during this period. I took a look. This stable period happened to be the period from when Boss Pei went to the competition venue to meet Miss Lin until now. Pei Yutang clicked his tongue. He's indeed my father. He's so powerful. If big sister-in-law stays by my brother's side 24 hours a day, wouldn't he recover? Pei Nanxiu frowned. Lin Yan is a human being. How can she be restricted 24 hours a day? Have you forgotten what happened last time? Pei Yutang nodded furiously. That's true. Although big sister-in-law's stabilizer is very effective, it's also a ticking time bomb. It was terrifying when big sister-in-law flipped out. Cheng Imo chimed in, President Pei and Miss Lin's relationship has stabilized. That's the best outcome. We can't be too hasty. Pei Yutang quipped, as long as big sister-in-law doesn't break up with big brother, everything will be fine. I can just beg big sister-in-law if there's anything. Lin Yan stayed for dinner and discussed the contract with Pei Yucheng and Pei Nanxiu. Pei Yucheng's condition wasn't stable, and he didn't like people approaching him. Hence, Pei Nanshu had been staying at the villa to take care of him. Pei Yutang, who had run away from home, couldn't come here casually. Hence, he took advantage of Lin Yan's presence to enjoy the feeling of staying in a huge villa. Soon, it was past 11 p.m. Pei Yucheng reminded her, "It's late. Go back and rest." Lin Yan hadn't noticed the time until Pei Yucheng reminded her that it was getting late. "Oh, okay. I'll make a move first. Mr. Pei, you should rest early too." Lin Yan stood up. Pei Yutang, who had been playing games on the couch, stood up immediately. "I'm leaving too. Sister-in-law was not here, so he did not dare to stay here alone." Pei Yucheng and Pei Nanshu walked Lin Yan to the door and asked Pei Yutang to take her back. Pei Yutang blinked and frowned. Why didn't Big Brother send her off personally? However, he didn't dare to refute his big brother's words, nor did he dare to ask. He really felt that the relationship between his elder brother and his sister-in-law was too distant. They did not seem like a couple at all. Isn't this progress a little too slow? Okay, I'll definitely send sister-in-law home safely. As Pei Yutang spoke, he couldn't help but curse inwardly. Even if he let his sister-in-law go out alone at night, the one in danger would be someone else. Lin Yan bade them farewell and got into Pei Yutang's car. Pei Yucheng didn't return to his room immediately. Instead, he lowered his eyes and lit a cigarette. He stood quietly in the dark as he watched the car leave. Beep, 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 on his wrist, the silver watch's siren went from weak and slow to rapid and intense. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit the website. Chapter 357. Brother, are you all right? Pei Nanshu hesitated as he stood nervously by the side. From Pei Nanshu's point of view, Big Brother had always been cold and distant in their hearts. He had always been indifferent to relationships and had been like an omnipotent god. He was flawless and didn't have any normal human emotions. Until Lin Yan had appeared, although they didn't know the reason, Lin Yan seemed to be more important to Big Brother than they had imagined. To Big Brother, there was no one or anything in his life that could escape his control. This was the first time he had treated someone with such care, such nervousness and restraint, in the car that gradually drove away. Lin Yan, who was sitting in the front passenger seat, frowned as she instinctively turned around. She seemed to have vaguely heard the familiar sound of her watch's alarm. She didn't know why, but she felt uneasy. She couldn't help but recall the scene of Pei Yucheng standing below her building that night. Pei Yutang, who didn't notice Lin Yan's absent-mindedness, exclaimed excitedly, "Daddy! You're really awesome. You actually beat WW. Daddy, take me in as your disciple. I want to be your disciple." Lin Yan rolled her eyes at him. She wasn't in the mood to talk to him. "I refuse." Pei Yutang looked aggrieved. "Why?" Lin Yan replied, "I don't accept disciples for no reason." None of the racers she had trained were below the first level of the international competition. Pei Yutang retorted confidently, "How can I be the same as others? I'm your brother-in-law after all. Can't you just let me in?" Lin Yan was speechless. She couldn't refute him. However, her father, brother-in-law, and disciple. What kind of complicated and strange relationship would that be? Lin Yan brushed him off casually. "I think a father-son relationship is good enough. If we become master and disciple, wouldn't my seniority drop?" Pei Yutang thought that her words made sense. He pondered them seriously before he replied, "No way. Isn't there a saying that goes, a teacher for a day is a father for life? No matter what, you'll always be my father. This will never change." Lin Yan was speechless as she listened to Pei Yutang's solemn promise. Pei Yutang's eyes darted around when Lin Yan fell silent. Suddenly, he exclaimed, "It's okay if you don't want to accept me as your disciple. You're my father, so you should teach me. Don't you agree, Dad?" A disciple was nothing. You can have many disciples, but you can only have me as your son. Lin Yan was speechless. That's enough. Haven't you ever thought that you still have two big brothers? Is it really good for you to acknowledge a father unilaterally? Daddy, why are you so absent-minded? What are you thinking about? Pei Yutang finally realized that something was amiss. Lin Yan propped her forehead against her palm as she watched the Pei family's mansion from the rearview mirror. She muttered, I miss your brother, pfft. Pei Yutang coughed violently as he grumbled, big sister-in-law, can you remind me when you stuff dog food into my mouth next time? I might choke if you stuff dog food into my mouth without warning. How's your brother's health recently? Have you recovered? Asked Lin Yan. Pei Yutang replied, how could she have recovered? She acts up several times a day. Her condition is as unstable as a roller coaster. You're tuning into the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.